Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. Futures pointing to higher open coming up this morning, nicely higher right across the board for North American markets, coming off of some weakness on Friday. We're bouncing back nicely this morning. We did have a positive month for the month of April right across the board. We saw the S&P add more than 5% for the month of April. The NASDAQ up 5.4%. We had the Dow up 2.7% as well. It was the fifth straight positive month for the S&P. So we'll look to build on that coming up a little bit later on this morning as we get things going for May. Earnings continue today as well. We have Lowe's, we have Estee Lauder, that ON Semiconductor, all reporting in the pre-market here this morning. We'll touch on those a little bit. Some key economic data coming up this morning as well, both at 9:45 and 10 a.m. It's that day where we get that 9:45 number that can kind of throw you off right after the open. PMI data for April. We'll touch on that. Tesla shares down this morning. News the Chinese government is asking for more participation from the company when it comes to their operations in China. And big moves over the weekend for cryptocurrencies. ETH all-time highs. We have Bitcoin back on the move to the upside this morning as well. It's Monday, May 3rd, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Yeah, nice positive board right across the entire thing here. We're looking at positive numbers. The S&P 0.5%, the Dow 0.6%, the NASDAQ lagging ever so slightly, but still in positive territory. Yeah, look at the bottom there. Ethereum 13%. We have Bitcoin 3% again today. Crude oil not doing a heck of a lot, but it's all about cryptocurrency. And yeah, what a move for Ethereum over the weekend into all-time record highs. Good morning, guys. It's Monday, a brand new week, a brand new month. Lots to get to this morning. Some of these crypto stocks higher in the pre-market, some not really doing a heck of a lot. We'll talk about that, but lots to get to on the earnings front again this week as well. Yeah,
flippening. It's like, look, there's going to be a lot to get to, but there was a lot of news. Well, I shouldn't say a lot of news. There was some news in the pre-market here. I mean, you had Vaxart with Q1, restating Q1, providing an update. You had Ocugen with positive news that moved the markets in the morning. We had a couple of symbols that were halted. So while earnings week last week earnings week was fantastic, and this week a little bit slower. I mean, Brendan talked about lows there. There's plenty of activity within the market, and yeah, you just can't stop Ethereum there. Way too much. Sort of way too much to look at this morning when I came in thinking there wasn't a lot of news and there wasn't going to be too much excitement. But here we are, and you have multi-movers. Vaxart's down like 25% from the top. And there's also that other one, BTX, which is it finally coming down to earth, Sean? I don't know.
I mean, we got it right now. We're trying some of this on the short side here. We've already tweeted out that we're dancing with the devil, shorting this BTX. So we're $5 right now in the money. So, I mean, my bid is a lot lower. We're in the 50s here. So we'll wait to see if it can crack. It's risk on Monday here. We'll see if it wants to come true or not. But we are $5 in the money on BTX. And then, so that's the one we have short. And then we have Microsoft long here, just breaking through 253. So that's Microsoft right now. Long Microsoft, short BTX, and BTX starting to move down. Yeah, this doesn't make any sense to me. So, you know, I was debating right now, we're bouncing around here, taking $5, but we'll wait for a bit lower. Yeah, it's exciting, man. Crypto rules the roost once again. Congratulations, anybody been buying on these dips like I have been. Not huge, but definitely adding to the portfolio there as we go. And yeah. Dogecoin, Ethereum, Cardano, everything rocking and rolling. Even Bitcoin joining the party today, Brendan.
Yeah, up nicely in the pre-market here, obviously open over the weekend, but we'll see what happens with some of these cryptocurrency stocks as well. That Brooklyn Immunotherapeutics, just an amazing move over the past couple of days. 47% still this morning on the short side for that one. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves here, let's get over to the desk and say good morning to Miss V.
Good morning, Brendan. Happy Monday and happy start of a new month, everyone. I wish you a wonderful day. Please subscribe to our channel, hit thumbs up, and let's get it started.
Let's get it started, guys, with maybe a little quick talk here on some of these cryptocurrency stocks. As I mentioned, a few of them moving here in the pre-market, a few of them not really doing a heck of a lot. The typical Riot, Mara, those type of names, all up between kind of 1 and 4.5% here. I mean, the last few times we've seen moves in the overall cryptocurrency markets, we haven't really seen a lot of participation from stocks in the same direction.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get an outside moves in Ethereum, but I mean, I think Mara looked like it was moving the most here, up about 4%. I checked in on Silvergate, not really doing too much of anything at like 1. So I don't know. We've sort of been saying for quite some time that probably the best investment is, like we said, you just get into you get one of the new ETFs, because now actually Purpose has the Ethereum ETF as well, so you can jump into that over here in Canada. Well, in the TSX, I should say. But I mean, Mara is up. I don't know that there's going to be a ton of volatility in this range of Mara, but it has been trying to make a bit of a breakout here. Maybe this is the exact sort of, I guess, start to the week catalyst that we need. There are certain people who have, I'm not going to name any names out there, said some harsh things maybe over the weekend about cryptocurrency, and I feel like that could be a bit of it could just push more people to be interested, to be perfectly honest with you. So it should be an interesting week, certainly. I mean, Mara through like 39.40. If we get a real break, and maybe back to like 60,000 or something like that, you could look for some Mara breakouts. It has been sort of forming a little bit of a somewhat consolidation off 35 here. I'm usually looking at SOS, and Silvergate is approaching that $100 mark where I might want to get some in.
So BTX just broke 63.50, so we took out half of our trade there on BTX. So in there, 67.50, breaks above 63.50, we take out half for $4. So we took that out for $4. Now we'll hold the rest for the downside. Look, I mean, you guys know, you watch the show. I've been talking about this ETHH forever and BTCC.B. Those are the only ones I recommend. I don't recommend Mara, or I don't trade them or anything like that. This is that Purpose ETF. Came out at $10, was a screaming buy at all levels, and then now you're going to open up with a lot. I mean, it's not going to open up at 19, but it's going to open up a lot higher today, probably 14, 15. It just follows, right? So Ether's up 13, 14%, let alone from Friday's close, right? So this is going to be Friday's close, and then you're going to open up higher today. So basically, just find the price of Ethereum Friday and then go for it. I don't recommend anything else. This is the other one, BTCC.B. Oopsies. If you're going to trade here, you just might as well trade the actual physical, and this would be another one, BTCC.B. You can trade that. I mean, again, the daily chart, not much. But Bitcoin lagging behind. Yeah, I'm looking at a few different names. Obviously today, when we roll with Cardano, makes 138 high. You can check that out on an hourly basis here as well. It was over the weekend. Yeah, what is that? Ooh, what the? Oh, that was back to, okay, I was going to say, wow, 155. No. Cardano, nice little move there. You can see Dogecoin. Congratulations to everybody on that one as well. Wow, rate back high side again, 40 cents, 39 and change right now for Dogecoin. So yeah, I mean, things are going well. I would just, I would stay away from the Mara, the Riot, and all that. I've talked about that. So if you want, when the market opens, we'll start looking at levels. But for right now, I'd rather just stay away from that and then see what happens on some of the physical when it opens up.
All right, let's bring in Mark Roberts here, president of Sun Lake Strategies. We'll get his take on a brand new month, brand new week to kick things off. Good morning, Mark. Coming off, I read this morning, coming off the 5th straight positive month for the S&P. We've seen this kind of slow grind to the upside over the past few weeks, at least. We're here again. A little bit of weakness came in on Friday, but here we are, back to 4,200 on the ES this morning. What are your thoughts on the overall market where it stands today?
I think there's a question of if Congress can work with the U.S. president and be able to get some of his complex programs through. It'll be A, amazing, and B, less of a grind due to party affiliation. So there's a lot of talk that Congress will work together. This may be also helping the market lift this morning. We've
been talking over the past few days and weeks about this kind of shift in market not sentiment, but the way the market has been trading over the past couple of weeks. We've seen the volatility go away. We've seen those high-flying names kind of die down, not really doing much. When it comes to these market shifts in momentum style names, how do you, wrap your head around finding the names that you need to be involved in properly versus just chasing whatever is moving day in and day out?
I tend to look for quality names, good management, liquidity, and I try to look for trends. And then I tend to wait for earnings because you can get sideswiped all too easily. So that be a case, for example, Overstock bought after the earnings. It satisfies the retail side, which will be coming back, and it satisfies the blockchain side. But there I've been waiting and waiting, and I waited for earnings.
And speaking of earnings, we're getting past the kind of 50% mark of this current reporting season. We got a few here this morning. Nothing kind of jumping off the page as far as exciting. What are your thoughts on these names this morning? I mean, Estee Lauder, there's Berkshire with impressive numbers once again. What are you looking at today?
Actually, I'm looking at Berkshire Hathaway. I own quite a bit of it, and I listened to about two and a quarter hours of the 3.5 hours over the weekend. Quite amazing how Mr. Buffett and Mr. Munger, both in their 90s, are able to keep the virtual crowd excited. Estee Lauder was high on my list. It had just gotten away when it lifted in January into that 270, 280 area. So now that it's back at 301, I'm starting to look at it. Should it get back down into the 280s?
It seems like daily now we're coming in and there's a whole slew of vaccine-related news. We got a few names that are moving this morning. Moderna, one of those. There's news around India. I forget the name of the company coming to mind right now. Ocugen. There we go. The Bharat Biotech Covaxin vaccine. Is it easy to kind of sift through this news on a daily basis and pull out one or two that might be a tradable event at this point, or do we just kind of look at it as a whole and find the ones that are strong from that?
I think that's the second half of it. Find the ones that are strong from it. I was in Merck and Bristol. I've recently gotten out. They just didn't satisfy the sentiment going forward. J&J, I still remain in. We'll see how that plays out. But whether it's Lilly, Pfizer, and the rest of them, I think it's a question of where you are. We know we're getting boosters. Would I rather play a CVS on the drugstore side or Walgreen? I'd rather go that route. And that's just the way it is at the moment. So I think it's starting to wane, but it's a story-by-story basis.
It's first day of May, Mark. Is it sell in May and go away, or do we rally again for a sixth straight month here?
I think this may be a difficult question. Thank you for bringing it up. I would have said yes for sure, but now I'm sort of in the middle of the road. So I'm going to stay with active positions, not sell into this, and see how it goes towards mid-May.
I love the answer there, Mark. Welcome back. Eager to get your thoughts there. And look, you sort of, I was going to talk about Lyft anyways and ask your opinions here, but you just mentioned waiting for earnings. Now, Lyft and Uber, of course, last week had a bit of a sell-off, and we talk about these clusters of support and maybe look at this like we're at right now, like this 55, 56. Is this a clear wait until the end of the week? Maybe see some weakness in here because I've sort of been on the Uber train. Actually, I picked up some Uber last week, to be honest with you, and we've talked about this time and time again. You like Lyft. I actually see some of that point with regards to maybe more, directed approach right into North America. But are you waiting to do anything until the end of the week, or have any of these moves last week given you reason to manage the position?
So I have a half a position in Lyft. I'm waiting for earnings and deciding whether I add to it or not. So I'm neutral here. The charts tell me to be neutral, and I think it's on the safe side to wait for the earnings.
I like the way you think there, Mark. So, I mean, yeah, it kind of makes a lot of sense to me to wait for the earnings there. Well, I want to talk just a little bit about some of the, I guess, reopen airline plays, because we've gotten your thoughts before when it comes to, Southwest. And I know we talked about Spirit Airlines as well, just trying to get up American Airlines here. Now, you've got some upgrades across the board, not really a lot of movement coming through. But we are sort of heading into a potential breakout in American Airlines. Just looking at this 22 area, what's your stage on maybe starting to think about some of the more, I guess, non-domestic players and international players? Are we still waiting around for that, or is it time to start to get on that bandwagon as well?
The market tends to look 6 to 9 months out. But I don't see any momentum going into those international plays yet. So I'm staying with my JetBlue, LUV, and Alaska Air. I think, if anything, you also benefit because they're feeders into those international carriers. But I don't see the momentum, liquidity, or money flows going into the others yet. I was wrong in some of the spikes, but as they pull back or they go through their consolidation, I'd rather wait it out.
There you go. So I got to ask you a bit about Verizon here. Obviously we're finally getting a sale of that entertainment division. A couple of good things in there, I suppose. Well, I mean, they still have. If you're into fantasy sports, Yahoo Finance is not a bad. Yahoo Finance and Yahoo Fantasy are two things that they got going for them, but. Do we care about this? They're gonna get some cash. It's probably a good idea that Verizon has finally made this move, just to streamline things and inject some cash. Outside of the dividend, is there any reason to think that this is going to cause any movement in the stock or shift the narrative in any meaningful way here in Verizon? Obviously, it's a solid company to own in your portfolio for that dividend and stability. But is there anything else to this news here and these sales?
No, I think this is a long overdue sale. This has been an albatross on the back of Verizon. They should have done this ages ago. I don't think it's getting nearly the play that it once would have. This has been we'll call it a replacement for putting a bond in one's portfolio and taking a little bit of risk off, or sitting in Verizon with that 4.25–4.5% yield. I think it's going to go nowhere. It'll consolidate, and on dips, you just want to buy it and not think about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly make sure you buy on some of them dips. Again, I'm sort of with you on the whole thing about it's just a good place to park some money there. And I want to quickly get your thoughts on this, and I always try to put you on the spot. If you had to pick something, and we think about the reopen, if you had to pick something maybe in the restaurant space, as people are getting back out and eating, what's your take? Do you have a particular name that you absolutely love here? Maybe something that you haven't told us before, or if there's just any other name you're looking at this week, that's perfectly fine as well. But I'm kind of curious, right? Maybe hospitalities and restaurants as well, where you might be looking. As my mind's been on the reopen, not just because I want to get out and eat, but because I think it's time to start thinking about some more plays in that space.
Well, we went for a car wash yesterday locally, stopped at McDonald's, and did the drive-through. The line was so long that I'm going to stay with the McDonald's, the Chipotle's, CMG, and those food places where you can either eat inside or eat curbside, so to speak. I think that's the play going forward. I don't see much difference after that. You may want to look at something like Shake Shack, again, quality name, but these stocks really haven't gone anywhere. McDonald's is probably the more impressive one for me.
Yeah, go back to the staples. If you just buy the best, you can't go wrong. Car wash, eh? Like, I like getting out in the driveway and just, when the weather's good, I suppose, and just get out there and do it myself. But why not enjoy whatever it is? I'm a Big Mac guy, so I don't know what your flavor is. Kind of curious. What do you, quarter pounder?
No, I like the Big Mac.
Okay. Hey, you cannot go wrong with an absolute classic, although we make that sauce ourselves at home. Just to put on just about anything. Mark, thanks again for all of your thoughts there. And yeah, we'll have a look at McDonald's today.
Have a great day.
You too.
All right, guys, let's go to upgrades and downgrades. Few of them, anyways, for Monday. DraftKings on this side of the board today. Cohen with an upgrade and price target increase on DraftKings. It was up in the pre-market. Costco here, Carvana, Halliburton. Clorox, that was a pretty negative note if anyone read it this morning from Deutsche Bank, calling it dead money for Clorox. Everything else on that side, not terribly exciting though, guys.
Uh-oh, Clorox.
Yeah, no, Valeria, I think is more, Starbucks than McDonald's. And I'm going to say, yeah, thank Mark for that one. We'll rain down the money. McDonald's the only real name that I own in that space. I used to own QSR, which is Restaurant Brands, but that just went nuts. So we were able to get out of Restaurant Brands. Look, I like you guys wanted it. It's posted now. There it is. What is this called? Oh, yeah, the sticky note is now up on Twitter, so you can find that. We'll drop that. We've been retweeting it since it's been out. Look, DraftKings has been beat down. I like this 58 level for a break. It was the high there on Friday. It's approaching it. A couple upgrades, like we mentioned. It's on the list, so I think it's... I mean, I never know when it's time for DraftKings to get going, but I do know that as an investor, I want to just buy more of this thing. But again, it's just been so negative, beat down. I still think we can get into the low 50s again. I don't know if this is the breaking spot here. I would much rather average in. And it's funny because this is the 50 period is right here at 63. And I just think we need to break above the 63, 64 area. Hopefully on earnings this Friday will help DraftKings. BTX, we did get out of 2/3 of that one already. So again, Neil was talking with Mark there, but there's the out. I posted that. Now we hold for the high, see if that breaks. And then our other only position right now is Microsoft. But again, we have Palantir, we have OCGN, and we have BTX and NEO and everything like that on our list. So guys, please go over there. If you have a Twitter account, check it out. Maybe I could post it on Insta if I have enough time, but there it is right there. Go have a look if you want to see some levels I'm looking at.
Let's kick things off here. We'll jump into what is moving around in the pre-market if you haven't done so yet. Sign up for the free watch list. We send it out every single morning before we come on at 8:30. It talks about everything that's moving in the pre-market and why. Then you come join us at 8:30 and we figure out how to trade these things heading towards the open. Tesla, the first one. If you need that link, by the way, Valeria will help you out in the chat. Tesla down in the pre-market here. More pressure, it looks like, being applied by the Chinese government, Chinese regulators. They're suggesting that their engagement with the regulators in China will increase. They've hired a few more people to manage that engagement going back and forth. They didn't really get into any more details as far as that is concerned. There was also a story regarding the Berlin Gigafactory, guys, going to take 6 months longer than first expected to get that open.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily affecting the stock price today too much here. It's basically, Tesla's basically flat off this 700 level. And I think you're likely to find this support here. Anytime you get these flush out bottoms that we talk about, and we obviously had one. Let me zoom back here. We obviously had one. If you go into Thursday's action, right through that 690 break, getting down, not quite holding at 666, but it's close enough that I'm going to still keep that around as a bit of a level. I look at that 690-ish area. That's what I would look to defend today. If there's any weakness on these reports, I tend to want to be buying it in front. And I look at this, I guess, little peak and then consolidation. And we'll zoom in on the 15 so you can see a little bit better. Right around the mid 80s. So that mid 80s to 690, the previous low earlier in the week. That's going to be where I like to defend. That little $5 range here in Tesla. I think if there's any kind of a drop, at 9:30 when the market opens up here, that's where I like to pick up some strength. You still have this 720-ish area, which is going to give you a little bit of I guess, resistance. It has almost every single time we bounced off 200, so I wouldn't expect anything to change. I'm looking for the dip 85s to 90s in Tesla. I don't really think this ongoing chatter with China is going to be too big of a problem, at least in today's action for sure. all that said, there is a good shot, and it was the first one I was sort of looking at this morning. It was a good shot that NEO might be the better trade today, just off of the deliveries. You had NEO XPEV and was Li Auto as well with the deliveries, and that could be just a little bit more volatile and probably the better trade.
So I'll go to another mega cap tech stock here. I like Microsoft. I like Microsoft a lot better this week than I did last week. Obviously, we had that monster earning report. I mean, I thought it was pretty good. Not monster in the way that the market reacted. We've come down off of that, but I think that's way overdone. So I think Microsoft's a screaming buy, so I'm going to buy it, and that's just as easy as it is. So 253, I'm long. I want to hold this back until this area here, like 250, 150. We've held Microsoft the last couple of days against us, and it's worked out fine. I don't imagine that we get too much lower than where we were on Friday, which would be this 250, 150. So typically, I just like to hold to the backside of there. We'll average into 252. We'll take one more shot in here somewhere, and then we'll try to hold it until this 251. I mean, if we're going to hold 250, 150, we can hold lower. Let's just see where the market goes. I don't have a stop order out yet, so we'll wait to see where we get closed out. But I like Microsoft. If it comes back into Friday's sort of lull there, then we'll take it around 251, 252. I mean, I'm already in, but I want to average in. But more shares coming, 251.80 and so on and so forth. So that's the position I like there with Softy more than Tesla. And I also like Apple. I mean, I like all the beatdown names from last week. And I do want to rotate. I may rotate out of Facebook and into more. Alphabet's already my #1 holding, but I may rotate some of those Facebook profits over in to Alphabet. So I'll let you guys know when I do that.
All right, just checking Bitcoin here, guys. Just holding, it looks like below 59,000. It's 58,500 and change at the moment, but we're kind of consolidating just below that 59,000. I was talking last week about 57. That's obviously come and gone, but back towards 59,000 here. Is there a trade with these crypto-related stocks today, or is it more just wait and see?
I mean, usually there's a momentum trade. I mean, if we're actually going to break, I mean, you should, and if you have spot op, if there's a break of 60,000 and then a kind of a big time move, and you get a key level break, that's worked before on like Amara. So that's the only reason I pointed out that. Like, you might actually get a convergence where you're looking at like 40 even on Mara, maybe like a top end break here through the morning, and that's just a pure like scalp momentum plays are still going to work here from time to time. I mean, if that's your flavor, I mean, I always feel like there's usually at that particular time when you're getting a break like that, more likely to be looking at NEO off the open or something along those lines. But if this is where your jam is, then hey, why not? You can have a look at this like either top end or maybe it's 40. Just look for a nice little cluster and then a breakout whenever we hit that 60,000 mark. And similarly, if there's a big time pullback, you just look for a recent support level. Make sure that you're getting some kind of consolidation. Maybe it'll be back at that 57 mark, something along those lines. I just like to have some cover and only watch the spot if I'm playing these names. I'm more interested in something like a Silvergate more for a hold than a trade, anyways. But if there was a pullback, which I don't think there's going to be a big one today, I'd be looking at that one closer to $100. But I don't think that's going to come.
Look, guys. I mean, Neil just brought up a good name there, Silvergate. Like, these stocks are basically at lows when crypto's back at highs, right? So I'm just going to continue with my rhetoric, and that is just a trade. I mean, if you don't have, it's so easy. I don't care what exchange you open up. We don't have affiliations with Coinbase or anybody. If you're here in Canada, there's a couple different ones as well, Coin Square, things like that. It doesn't really matter. But for you guys, I'd rather 3,200. I mean, that's exactly, and this is on Kraken, so I mean, still a big website exchange. 3,200 for Ether, still staring everybody in the face. So there's that look. I much rather play that break right there. It stopped at about 4:15 this morning, stopped at 3,200. A break of that and you're gone. That's all-time highs again. A play back to 3,000 would be fantastic. Neil talked about 60,000 there on BTC. So, I mean, no matter which way you look at this, crypto is really where you have to be right now. And if you're not in crypto, then, I mean, I cannot believe just the explosion that this has had. Even when I look at this, I'm kind of speechless right here. Like, this is from January, 700 on Ethereum, like 700 in January. You're now at 3,200. So, I mean, it's been a monster explosion. Congratulations to anybody long, and quite frankly, this is just my opinion, and I'm long crypto as well, and it's exploded to a way higher percentage of my portfolio than, quite frankly, I'm comfortable with, but I'm not selling. So what does that tell you? I just think there's a lot of people that are in the same boat as me that have made enormous, returns on crypto, but yet they still holding the crypto itself. So I mean, look, man, diamond hands or not, you don't have to have diamond hands. It's only been 3 months and you've got 5x. So Brendan, I mean, I don't know what kind of diamond hands are necessary, but I'm still going to try to maintain them even though we're at all-time highs.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive for first 4 months of the year. Wow. Let's bring in Arun here and check out the overall market. We'll have a look at the futures, see what we need to be aware of. It seems like a bit of a replay, Arun, from when we spoke on Friday. We're back to this 4,200 again.
Yeah, now we've established a new range that we're going to be working with. It seems to be 42.15 is going to be the top end that we were working with on Friday, and 41.60 is also the bottom we've been working with for a while now. After the 80s, 41.80 broke, 41.60 was the next level down, and that's been fairly strong. Anything below 41.75 seems to be getting bought. So I think we're going to look at that again as a potential buy point. So anything below 41.75. I'm looking for some setups, anything that sets up half decently. It doesn't have to be perfect, but anything that shows me there's enough buying there to maybe bounce one more time, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the long with the 41.60 stop. And now to the upside, I'm starting to see some activity, some sell side activity above 41.95. So anything above there, I want to see a little bit more, but it could easily be an opening move to the downside. So I'm going to wait to see if that's the actual case, because I am seeing a decent amount of selling above this 41.95. So there might be shorts in play, but I do want confirmation before I make that move. So 41.95 going up to 42.15 is going to be the play to the short side, if there is one to the short side there. We do have the 10 o'clock ISM number, so that tends to move the market. It's the first number of the new month. So 10 a.m., keep an eye on that. If we get a move around there, you know why. And then I believe the Fed is up. He is talking, Chairman Powell is talking, but it's not an official, specifically related to, let's say, monetary policy. I believe it's about home economics or something like that. It's a conference, but anytime he talks, you pay attention. So always keep an eye on that. I believe that's later in the day as well. So a couple things to keep an eye on in terms of headlines. 42.15 on the top end and 41.60 on the bottom for the range edges.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Arun's going to join us after the show as well for the Q&A, guys. If you haven't already, sign up for the members only Q&A coming up every other Monday, including today. Arun will stop by if you have any questions about the futures market or trading futures in general. Swing by to that, and he will be more than happy to answer those. Let's go to Moderna here. Moderna up on some positive news, being included in the COVAX, the GAVI COVAX plan, I guess it is, where they try to get these vaccines into some countries that are a little bit, less fortunate, I guess, and don't have access to the vaccine supplies that others do. So the World Health Organization adding Moderna's vaccine to their list of approved vaccines back on Friday. So we get this little bump today on that, guys. It's up 3%. This one has been one of the stronger, if you want to look at these vaccine names.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question about it. The chart's going to tell you that story, to be sure. This is a good story. It's fantastic news, I suppose. Whether or not this is going to cause it to break this 190 that it's been struggling to get through, I mean, I'd be a little bit skeptical on that, at least going into today. I think there's at least another break that might be a little bit more worthwhile, and you're sort of watching this 185, 186 area from last week's top. It made one crack at it on Thursday with a hard reversal. Sometimes the second time is a charm here. It's not the top of my list because I prefer to fade the vaccine names, and I don't necessarily love that fade trade. I'm not sure there's enough momentum going into it. Usually that would work when it was up like 5 or 10%. Not really seeing that in today's action. Maybe that 190 would give me the cover for that kind of a trade. But Moderna, look, at the end of the day, I think there's going to be a break at some point at that 190. It seems to have that kind of momentum. I'd be playing the fade the first time it got there. I think you can look at a 185 break. I just don't see the interest or volume this morning. And volume matters. So only up 3% without a ton of volume. I don't know that you're going to get the crazy move in there today off of the morning. But certainly on the radar if it pushes to 190.
Yeah, no, I don't have. I mean, I've talked about this. I'm just trying to get some shorts. This VXRT right here off this 1020 level. We'll get to that soon, of course. Vaxart. So people talking about that. I know you guys are short already. We're going to get into that name as well. But look, Moderna. I mean, I'm going to average into it. Moderna. Look, we've talked about this over and over again. I don't think there's too much money in the current COVID situation, but they've, proven with Pfizer, with AstraZeneca, with all these companies, J&J as well, that they can solve any of these, hopefully, virus-related issues. And the thing about Moderna, I'll never forget that they basically had this vaccine for COVID-19 anyways in less than 24 hours. So, and, so that to me, the technology is there. Who knows? I have no idea if it's going to cause, malicious things years and years from now. I keep reading all of this, all the haters on the vaccine front. That's the risk, right? That's the risk when you take any of these vaccines and consider them to be safe with limited testing. But I think Moderna, I mean, I like them all. I like them for future, and Moderna has the best technology as far as I know. So I can recommend buying this one, especially if you break above this 190. That's all-time highs. So, I mean, I don't know if this day was real, 220. That might have been on some news in the pre-market, but intraday closing 190, definitely a nice little high there. So we're going to watch out for mRNA.
Yeah, I think that was a dark print. I saw that as well. I think it's 89.60 if I remember correctly is the all-time high, or anything above that will be all-time highs. All right, BTX. Let's talk about Brooklyn Immunotherapeutics, Sean. You want to jump into this one first? I know you were looking at it early.
Brooklyn, yeah, no, I mean, I'm here, right? I'm trading whatever the price movement is, and I took out 2/3 of this one. We took a break rate now of 67.50. It's funny because, I have to talk about it because I talked about it on Friday, and I said, you didn't want, and Neil was shorting it. We were looking at this short as well. We can't believe that it ripped up there after market, but I didn't think that anybody wanted to hold this thing into today because it's just, you don't know if this move's going to be up here or down here. And today it's up here. So again, congratulations anybody that decided to hold this thing over the weekend on what we cannot believe the run that it's had. I mean, BTX, I don't even want to look at a daily chart. It's amazing, to be honest with you. But you go back to April 1st, so we call this the first day of May now. And it was $4 roughly, 267. And not... Look, I mean, it's in the right space, apparently. They're talking the right stuff. So we'll wait to see if BTX gets blown upside again. But I'm going to hold this until it breaks through 73, this high. Otherwise, we're going to continue to short this name. And let's see if profit comes out of here. Because, I mean, unless this is one of the greatest companies in the world, I don't know if we deserve to go from 4 to 70 and not at least test somewhere back halfway. So that's my look right now on BTX. Let's just wait to see. I could wind up losing. Remember, we're out 2/3 here for a $4 winner. And then, my last bit, like I said, let's just double check to make sure. Yeah, so it's going to be out at 73. So if we break above 73, it'll still be a profitable trade, but obviously would give him back a lot if it does break higher. So that's the kind of the risk profile that I have on this one. And again, I have to sort of put my money where my mouth is and just can't be hating on everybody that's long. It's a congratulations to you. I just right now, I mean, Neil, I think this is going to be the top. I would love to get short into 72 more. We'll see if it gives me that opportunity. But for now, I hold the 67.50 short.
Yeah, I mean, I went short a couple times on that one on Friday. And I think as long as your timing was good, you're sort of okay with it. Sell into the weakness. The reopen after the halt trade was a solid one there. But it just kept on running. Now, if you look at the last time pullback, because it did have one pullback there, Sean. It had that 54 into 29. Then I was surprised it had a second move in there. So call it 54 into 30. If it does the same thing again, I think that would be at least somewhat reasonable. So there's a good chance you get back into the 50s today. The real question is, does it have another spike in it? Now, the fact that you had that breakthrough, because you get a price like the one you got there, Sean, and you get that 67 short, you kind of feel like, okay, well, the key is to break through 60 off the open, and people start taking that profit and then dumping. If it makes the bounce back, I almost expect it to break through like GameStop would do this. And is it the new GameStop? I don't really know, but it might be. So if it breaks through, if it breaks up, I think I got to look at that and I call it closer to like 73 to 76 area. So that's the price target that I'm looking for off the open if there's some strength to fade into something. But it got to have a hard stop. I wouldn't give that to the high of the day. That's probably a little bit reckless. And oh, there's another one. That Vaxart's on the move again. I can't believe how far that thing fell on the news this morning there, Brennan.
Yeah, big move down, updating their current quarter. Let's talk about, we'll get to that in a second here, guys. Let's talk about these Chinese EV makers first. We see this every month. Typically, the first week of a new month, they come out with their prior month delivery numbers. That was the case this morning, all three of them today. NIO, we have Li Auto and XPEV here all up in the pre-market. Remember, these all kind of look like this on Friday. They were very strong to end the week on Friday. Now we're gapping up further. I mean, big percent gains once again for all three. I think it was XPEV that had the biggest number, but I mean, they kind of trade as a group anyway.
We were shorting NIO like crazy on Friday and got burned up. So we'll look to go long today. We just took 20 cents on this Vaxart trade that we just put on. So I don't know. I took out half. It is what it is. Both huge wins for me today on the short side. So that's something new. Okay, NIO right now. Again, let's look. And again, I said I'm just going to be. I just trade the price action on these names, guys. Okay, so NIO right here. I like a 40-50 break. Let's just call it what it is. There was a 40-50 kind of. Some kind of consolidation there at 40-50. I'm just picking a random level here. It's like I'm not trying to throw darts. I don't want to be short this name again today into this. I mean, look at the move that we had on Friday. This is what we're talking about. We kept finding levels, and thank God we were able to. It was a hit, but I mean, it's completely absorbable. Thank God we did stop here, but I mean, straight March northbound on Friday. So what we could do is have a look here at a 20-period moving average, a 20-period chart, and have a quick look. So this is 40-50 right here on some consolidation. So that's where I just sort of think, you know, we dipped down there about, what day was this, the 28th, and then we had some 40-50 action back on the 23rd as well. So I think if we could get to 40-50, that should be exciting, and then we'll see if it breaks back above 41. So 40-50 right here is going to be my play on NIO. If we do get, I mean, you do often get little pull downs. You can see that every morning. Well, not every morning, but most mornings we do get a pull down. So if we can get into 39.50 here, I think that may be worth it. But again, like, I don't really want to die on a sword one way or the other. So I'm going to take a 40-50 break and then see what that looks like. We'll get Neil's opinion, and then I'll check out the imbalance locator.
Yeah, it's hard for me not to like the, because I'm with you, and I got blown out. That short was obviously, you know, it stunk on Friday, and we got hit taking that short. So I'm thinking on the long side, especially with the numbers here today. And I look at the bottom on the pullback that we had on Friday, and it's like 39.75. Then I kind of go back to like, when you had this like move up, we hit a sharp sell-off on the 22nd, and then when it gapped the next day, leading into the run-up to 43, like that was the 39.75 was a bit of a dip buy at the open there. So I look at that price then, I look at that price now and say, okay, we're only about 50 pennies away. That's kind of reasonable. You're maybe not waiting all the way to 39.50. So I'm parking something in front of that 39.75, maybe start a bit of a dip buy thing. There's certainly the way it ran on Friday, Sean. The breakouts are probably back, to be honest with you. So it's hard not to stare that 40-50 in the face and like it. But I'm always preferring to buy the dip at the open on NIO. It just usually feels like the safer way to get into position. So I'm gonna stick with that one today. If it happens to reverse off 40 and there's a lot of buying, you know, like 9.30, 9.31, maybe I'll have to step it up a little bit. But I am watching 39.75 in particular.
All right, let's continue along here, guys, as we make our way through the morning note. If you haven't done so, again, make sure you sign up for the absolutely free to you morning note. We send it out every day. Sean, your Palantir back on the note this morning, moving in the pre-market a little bit. They hired a chief medical officer, a government chief medical officer, former IBM Watson Health connections with this new hire. I mean, not significant news, I would think, for the company, but back on watch here for PLTR.
Yeah, I mean, again, I just think that you don't really, like, I haven't really heard a negative story yet for Palantir. I don't even know, I mean, people really aren't even downgrading it. To me, it's a story that it's data mining, right? And I mean, it's just like, I don't see like human data mining. Like, I know that it's just like This is something where they're looking at numbers, they're looking at statistics, they're flowing through, and now you get a guy from IBM and Watson to come through. I think it's great news for Palantir, but I don't think it's a needle mover, right? So I think that's what we're getting at. You could see it's only up 0.2%, but it has 200, almost 300,000, so we will cross that 300,000 mark before open. Look, it's this level right here. We were down 0.8% on the NASDAQ on Friday, right? So, and you did still hold this 2280. So if we look back here, it's the same story for Palantir. It's not my favorite. It's one of my favorite long-term stories, that and Alphabet, and Ford. But I don't, for right now, it just continues to struggle. The only thing that I like right now is we were dancing well below the 50 period. Now the action's been so bad down here lately that we're getting ready to cross it again. So like a 24 cross, like no man can cross this, but someone's gonna cross this, and then it's gonna go straight to the upside at 25. So you're gonna have to watch out for Palantir to break, man. Right now, I thought that we need to get above 29. Now I'm more thinking like 27.50 probably does it justice. So let's just wait to see on Palantir. Plus, also, if you're taking a big position, this is another thing that I like about this. Unlike DraftKings, if you're taking a big position in Palantir, I really feel like you know when you're wrong, and it's not like it's 10% lower than this. It's not like a huge hit if anyone really wants to take a risk on Palantir, because you can hold it. I mean, if you really want to get, $20 then. So I guess 15% lower on here would be the really breaking point. But you have a lot of upside there. I know our friend Kevin O'Leary picked it on his draft day pick there. But I still think I'm not saying that's a negative thing, but I still think there's a lot of upside there with Palantir. And so I'm defending these levels today. So that's what I'm doing. I already have bids. I'm actually surprised I'm not filled yet. One of my bids is at 02 here, 23.02. Then we have some in the 90s, and we'll wait to see if it breaks down below 22.50, but that's the play. Oh yeah, and by the way, here goes BTX. So let's go arrows down on BTX right now. We're still short 67. I still have envisions of this even breaking 48, 49 today. Let's see how low we can go on this. Oh, everything now. Microsoft, 20 cents in the money. VXRT, 40 cents in the money. Today is a good day, Neil.
Sean, you know who can cross it? It's only who can understand it, and then they can cross. And that's the thing about, look, I'm with you actually wholeheartedly on that break. The day is going to come, and trust me, when you get that like 24 area breakout on Palantir, you're not going to want to miss it. You'll get that linear action that you've had before. But like you said, right now that Vaxart, and because we haven't mentioned it yet, I know we've all talked about Vaxart, but not necessarily Ocugen. It's now bounced a couple of times, so I mean, you'll see me fade these a lot of times, but Ocugen just came out with the news being that. Covaxin, I think it's called. Successful against 3 of the variants for COVID-19. So it double bottomed off this 14. I have scalped it into this like 1440 range. I'm trying to hold for a press into the high, but so far it's a fantastic Monday morning, and you're making. So I'm long Ocugen and you're short BTX. Something's weird about that, Sean.
Yeah,
let's go.
Try to make that money.
You have a thought on that?
No, I don't have a comment. So he's only saying that because normally I'm long and he's short, but we're both, I have to tell you something, guys. Like, we say this all the time. Like, I know, Neil, you've said that you've called yourself a shorter, basically.
Well,
I'm not even really sure what that means.
It seems easier.
You prefer to go short, and I think that's the one thing that I want to tell everybody. We have the ability to go short or long just by the hit of a key. We just got to make sure that we have the boros. So for us, it's very, very easy to go both ways. So basically, we are trading like a fully, like a margin account where you can, take that higher short and hold it against you with the proper buying power and whatnot. So that's all. I just want to say that, we're both trading price action here, and hopefully we can both win. You're short Vaxart too, right? So
yeah.
Let's go to airlines next. They are all essentially getting a bit of a bump here from Berkshire Hathaway coming out over the weekend saying, yeah, they kind of got that one wrong. If you remember, kind of mid-year, I guess it was, last year, they got out of all of these basically at the bottom. So not great for Berkshire, but they came out over the weekend and said, yeah, they messed up on that. So a bit of a bump. I mean, there's the reopening angle for these as well, guys. For AAL seems to be doing the most volume here.
It is, and probably because there's room to run. I mean, I'll show you Southwest up here just so you can see what the relative strength it looks like in LUV up around that top, looking very, very strong. And then, and we were mentioning this with Mark, and he was sort of like the whole maybe wait around a little bit on the airlines. But here's American Airlines. it does feel like if you're gonna put the money into something, and maybe you could wait, like Mark was saying. I look at this like 22, and I did write this down for the trade today, and this is just strictly momentum. I'm not saying buy and hold American Airlines through 22 because it's going to be fantastic. It actually doesn't look that bad, but a 22 break stands out like a sore thumb for me. It has been lagging. I think some momentum looks like it's probably to come back into the name. Is it because, look, am I going long because they said they missed it? I don't know that that's going to be the case. This setup would have been there anyways, and people have reopened on their mind, and people have international travel, and when is that going to take off? And maybe you want to get out in front of it. I think to start the week off, a 22 break when we're only up 1% is not a bad look. So you're going to see me likely in American Airlines. No Spirit today. I might look at Southwest, but no Spirit or Southwest, just AAL 22.
Okay, yeah, I haven't really looked at anything. I'm just getting my Microsoft all set up. Yeah, but LUV was the name that we've liked for a long time. Mark's liked it as well. Neil just talked about a few different names there. So I think Southwest, again, just with the U.S. opening more than, international, you want an airline that's carrier in the U.S. So LUV makes sense. It's cruising along the 50-period moving average. I don't see any reason for these things to come back down, of course, unless the strains just get worse and worse. I don't know what the vaccination level is, but as that starts to get a higher and higher percentage, globally and domestically as well, LUV continues for me to be the name to look at. I'm in no airlines other than Boeing, which of course is not an airline. They are the maker of airplanes. So I prefer Boeing over any of these names, but I realize the action on all these names have been better than Boeing. So it's been wrong to be in Boeing as opposed to airlines. I just, I like what they can bring to the table on a reopen, and I'm still waiting for that China order. And again, if Boeing can get above this 245 area right here, basically, then I think it's smooth sailing, smooth flying up to not all-time highs, up to new highs here of 280 or so. So I like Boeing through this 245.
Smooth flying is always key.
Yep.
If you're flying, anyways. DraftKings, guys, we talked about this back on Friday. If you remember, there was a couple of positive analyst notes last week on DraftKings, basically saying there's still lots of potential here. It's still sitting in this very identifiable support area on the daily chart, but up 2% here. Cohen, the latest, coming out with an upgrade and price target increase again today for DKNG.
I just sort of feel like every time I look at this 58, it's just like needling at me. And DraftKings has been a lot easier. It's been a lot easier to hold than it is to necessarily day trade. You're right at this pre-market high, right at this 58, Friday's high as well. It's about to break it. Every single time there's been a setup like this, I shouldn't say this, but that I've watched it, I should say, and not just every single time. There's been a break and then a flush into the open, or it just doesn't extend as far as I'm anticipating. So it doesn't even get to that 59 area where you'd expect at least a bit of a dollar run. It just never has that kind of momentum. Is it a volume thing? Only 350,000 shares done in the pre-market. That could be it. So I kind of, if I think that it is going to be a failed break in the DraftKings, I kind of got to lean into the idea that, okay, it breaks up, and I'm looking for maybe a buy the dip or maybe a hard reversal somewhere around that 59 area. So count me out of the break. I'll probably be in the American Airlines break and then looking at NIO at the open, even though, on positive news, that 58 does stand out like a sore thumb normally for a setup for a breakout.
Yeah, DKNG is also on my watch today, but again, it's only on the watch basically because it has potential to go. We wrote down 58. It stopped at 58 right there on the day. We didn't get punched in. I don't even have the order to go in right now. It wants to go often in the morning and then doesn't. So for me, I just wrote down that level in case you guys did like some DraftKings. That is the high right now on the 20-period chart here. You can see 20-minute chart. This is that 58. We bounced around here a bunch of times back on the 23rd. We got as high as 58.50, and then we've really not done anything past 58.50. So I like the break of 58 for sure. It looks like it's going to happen right now, and then we got to wait to see what happens at that 58.50 level. So don't get caught off guard there for 58.50. But I did want to show, we didn't show this yet, I don't think, the imbalance locator. We said we would. AHT right now. There's a lot of talk about AHT. I don't know exactly.
Like a $3.
Is that on our list there? Ashford Hospitality Trust, up to $3. MRO, Verizon, nothing really else on here, man. Oh, Pfizer. A lot of these companies are going to report this week. There's Twitter. We didn't talk about them, but that's a buy. And then everybody's favorite, Skills as well. So down here near that 17 level that we like to support on Skills. So there's the imbalance locator with only 6 minutes to go, guys.
All right, let's go to Ocugen. More, positivity coming through on Ocugen today. When it comes to Covaxin, remember they teamed up with that Bharat Biotech from India on this Covaxin. They released some data this morning suggesting it is infective, not infective, affective with treating some of the variants that we're seeing with COVID-19. They have yet to get approval on this Covaxin yet, though.
Yeah, and a big time move to the upside. It's actually up 10%, but it just sold off. I'm going to show you the 15-minute chart. Go back to the 23rd, and you're going to see this 1365 area, which if there's a reason I just got out of my long trade, maybe I should have, maybe I could have hung on to it and looked at this 1380 area, but I was watching 1365 for a bit of a dip. That's all the way down here into the open, guys. So there was a couple of shots here off of the 14 level. It only got up to 1445, so the last third of the position I'll take off when it breaks 14. Ocugen, and the story goes, just looking at the daily chart here, you are getting into this $15 area where there was resistance before. So the fact that you spiked there and resisted, I wouldn't take that too lightly. I think eventually it has a shot to break that 15. I think it has to hold that 65 dip, or even better, if it holds the 1380 dip at the open, that could be good. But when I see a flush like this, it's a reverse of the rule. Like if I was shorting the stock into 930, I probably wouldn't want to average into that type of a move. If it was up, same thing into the long. If it's going to get sold at the open, I'd rather get out, look for another support level to try to buy back into it. I kind of prefer playing this one to the long side today. We'll see what happens. Certainly if it holds below that 1365, that would change.
Yeah, I wrote down that 1450 level on OCGN as I was still looking at skills there. Looking just to take it if it does break. We have 1450 right there. This is a 1 minute chart. We've already ticked up that high today. So it's just a matter of if it breaks it. But yeah, the downside, we closed at 1270 or even lower than that. Yeah, around 1260 on Friday. So lots of movement to the downside. There goes BTX. So it goes above that 73 and we got out. So actually, yeah, still actually positive on the name there. So the math was pretty good. We actually got a decent break there. I'm still looking now. So now that it's taken out the top, you have to wait to see how high it wants to go. We're flat and put money in our pocket. So like hallelujah on that one. Like thank God we made that decision there after it didn't break lower. We were waiting for 58s and got out of 2/3 there. Still money in our pocket on that play. Looking for this to break again, 67 to the downside, but we're flat on that. VXRT still making moves down. We'll look at that, but OCGN, I just like it for the break to the high side. Otherwise, yeah, just keep the average alive and take everything into that 14, 15. But again, we'll see. It's Monday. Anything could happen. We're going to get ready for hopefully a big week here.
All right, another one that we were mentioning last week. Big moves over the past couple of days back to the downside for Microvision after earnings. Earnings were not good for MVIS. There's just this 1575. It tested a couple of times. Going back to Friday, if we do get back up to 1575, otherwise this is 1460 and then 1450 gets you kind of into this mess from midday on Friday. But another one, guys, kind of looking weak, just failed at 15 for MVIS.
Yeah, that was going to be one I was looking at a little bit heavier. If it ever got to 16, I like that level as well, MVIS, but if it wasn't for the fact that it's 927, this was that price area on BTX, but there's something about shorting this going right into 930. Again, if you have a rule like that, I tend to find that usually at that time, if you miss that sort of break at the open, it can get pretty ugly against you. It's still in this, I guess, 72 to 76 range, so that'd be the spot where I'd like to have a look at BTX. But it looks entirely too strong to take this, 2 minutes going into the open. Sean mentioned Vaxart, of course. We're also looking at that. It just spiked, guys. So you look at that 10. This is like a 1020 level. The news broke, and it broke Friday's high at 1150. But I didn't even, I was barely even able to get to read the news when I was in and out of that trade quickly. But I look at this cluster here. If it breaks at 1020, I should say, I look at this cluster at 1075 up to 11, where right into the close, there was a cluster there, and then on the pullback as well. So if it breaks 1020, I'm out. But I'm getting back in and looking at that 1075 to 11 even on Vaxart.
Yeah, so we got out completely on Vaxart there. So we were short, and then out at 990 just to make sure that we did put some of this money in our pocket. With only a minute to go, man, yeah, this 1020 is a spank spot for me as well. I actually don't have it on the list. We're going to wait to watch out for that one. So, yeah, we'll take out the stick and we'll go long there at 1020 if that can come. Where is it? There it is there. We'll play a little carnival action with that. Palantir coming down as well. A quick look at the imbalance locator. AT&T.
Neil's at 50.
Yeah, we talked about that. It was Verizon, though, right? The deal with Yahoo and everything like that. But AT&T, a big mover as well, Neil.
Yeah, no, I was just yelling out there that Neo just spiked all the way to 40.50. So I mean, like I'm sitting there with a dip buy that I'm laughing at it now because we just went to the upside, and obviously I'm not going to get that fill. I'll push it up if we get anything to like 40. Call it like a 40 even. I'll have to take a look at there. But it's Monday morning. Let's get this party started. Got to drop that countdown. Miss V is on the bell, and as quickly as it went to 50, Neo right back down to 35. 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's get it started, Miss V.
And there she is. So we get right away. So a nice little win here on Softy. We're long in the money now, 50 cents. Let's see how high this wants to go. We also did take some Palantir love here. So we'll wait, man. 2302. We do have our plan of action for Palantir down here to 2280, the bottom of Friday. Let's see if it wants to hold. It may not. We will average into this trade and then take this one. Again, not going to fall on a sword. Just trying to reach out here for Palantir. See if it wants to hold this 2280, guys.
Yeah, and Ocugen's first try getting back above 14. Now, so far, it's held that 1380 range, which was the dip off of that news. So I got back. Whoa. Just got back into the long there, and wow. So off that 14, he just immediately spiked to 1450, was able to scalp that one off. I'm going to buy the dip. That was a strong move there in Vaxart. So if it comes back into that 14 range, I think it's worth another defense. Wow.
Okay, yeah, we didn't, unfortunately. Okay, here it comes. Let's go. Let's see if it breaks that 1020. You know we're going to go long on that one. We already talked about that. So, okay, Palantir, we did take another long. It's coming back down. Like I said, this is just an early shot. We understand Palantir will move, and it's coming down to the downside right now. So watch out here. PLTR coming to the downside. We're going to get out on a 70 break, sorry. So here it is. It just tested it. We're going to get out a little lower than this, guys, and we're out, and we'll see what happens at 2250. But right now we do have Palantir long, and it looks like we're going to get our neck snapped in a minute. Here goes Vaxart. It'll take a little bit off.
Did you get that? Yes, I got out of the Vaxart when it broke that 20, but didn't actually get into the long position. I can tell you that, that print's not real. Neo didn't come down to 39.80 as far as I can tell, but it spiked to 40.50 and then is now flushing back into 40 even. So that could have been a big time failed break on Neo. I'm going to now start thinking about that 39.75. Did it actually go there?
Yeah, I was waiting at 79. I was watching.
I was in the 70s. Okay.
It's unbelievable. I'm at 79, Neil, and it goes to 82.
Yeah, I was like,
but whatever. That is the key there for that one. So watch out. So Ocugen breaks the high as well. So yeah, man, I'm in 2 of these breakouts right now. We took some profit off on Vaxart, and now it's still ripping. Let's go, Vaxart. We'll see if this one can go, man. We had this short making money, and now we're making money on the long side. So that's still to be determined. The only one right now that's dipping down is Palantir, and I don't know, man, if the NASDAQ doesn't get going, maybe that 2250 level will be tested at some point today. But hey, we're long right now, 97s on PLTR. Let's get a little more long here and watch out for Ocugen. What's up, B?
All right, big mover on Friday as well. RHE, if you remember this regional health something or other, just halted here, guys, through 10, which was the high on Friday. So RHE, the first halt, guys.
Yes, I do remember that name. Just I actually wrote some levels down. I actually had 10.15 written for a place that could be a little bit of resistance on it. Anyways, 10.20 is the actual halt price. I finally got into Neo on that dip, so it gets all the way down into those 80s. This time I pay 88s in front of that 75. But if this one opens up and tests 1180, if it stalls there, that would be a decent spot as a key level. So I'll be on RHE, or at least looking at it off of that open. Like I said, Neo finally came in. I'm kind of sick here because the first bounce that bounced off 80, it was immediately at 40. So if I get this kind of the way that I wanted it through, I'd be absolutely laughing. Instead, I get it the second time at 88s here. I might have to pick some up in the low 80s if I can get some. In NIO, I favored the dip buy. That's what we did. Ocugen is the other one to the long side. I don't have that. I don't have Vaxart. I know, Sean, you're all over it, but Ocugen comes right back in and dips 14 a second time. Not nearly as strong as the first. We're going to go do this. We'll power it up. got able to get 48s here, and this time we'll take some 25. So it's going to give you a 50-cent scalp the first time, but that was insanity off of the open on Occugen. This time I'll take a third out here in front of 25 red at VWAP. I'm playing the long side, I guess on both these, because Neo and Occugen, and I wanted that 21s but did miss it. That's part of the thing about being in that short trade. Get out of the short. Should have had a big order reverse.
Yeah, we're going to try to take 50 cents or 45 cents on Softy. It's just bouncing around here. Again, like no idea why it doesn't want to break this 40. So we'll sit there and see if we can't take something on that. Okay, one last shot here. Palantir. No, I thought I put another bid in there. I guess I did not. Palantir, one more shot. I think we should take it. We'll take a small bid here. There it is. So we take another bid. Let's see if it breaks 70. If it does, we're going to be gone. But let's just take one more shot there. Our average price now, 92s on PLTR. No profits taken yet, but again, we are well aware of the risks that we're taking on Palantir right now. Neo, we did pick up some bids down here. So we did get a 79. I told you guys we were sitting at 79. That's where we were. Sometimes it can't believe the prices that we miss, but sometimes we actually get the prices. So let's see now, up to the high side now goes Neo. Rip City, hopefully back to 40, 41. We can get 41s. That's fantastic. We know the moves that Neo can have. Unfortunately, there it is. So Palantir will fall down the hole on that one. So where's the one that we could do right there? We'll go downside. I still like it, but I just didn't want to take the risk. We probably just made low tick, which is fine. I don't want to take the risk there on Palantir today. It could come lower. We will do some more work to find some low spots there, but we just got out at 69. That may have been a mistake.
Yeah, and halt on that BTX, so volatility halt. And this is one of those things. We talked about that price range to short into it. There was one move at 930 to the downside, and then it broke your back up to 80, 81s. If you were looking at the high of day, you had to jump like $4 in front of it. It's now a halt down. It should open back up at 939 or so. Look, could this be it, like a bit of a capitulation off of the open? If that's going to be the case, I want to see it open in this range. That's like 63.75 into this like 68, and then you sort of give it to like that 68, 69 on a short trade. So BTX should open in a few minutes here. I didn't quite get that. Well, I didn't get that re-entry. That second entry, I should say, into NIO. Unfortunately, so I only got those 88s. So I'm going to take some off, scalping it in front of 40.15, see if I can't hold to that 40.50 high of day. But bit of a missed opportunity because I tried to get 80s, low 80s one more time. It only went to the upside. So the dip buys worked. It's just, it should have been a heck of a lot better in Neo.
Oh, man. Like, the only loser that we have, this Palantir there, we got back in as it was looking like it wanted to break VWAP. It doesn't look like it does there, and now comes back in. So we'll take one more shot here, and then now we'll just use, again, it's, someone said like how manipulated the stock is, and it definitely is feeling like that because it hits these key levels and then bounces around. So like I said, we're not going to be too crazy about this play, but it did just wick down there. So I do want to give it to 50 now because, again, like I don't want that to happen, and then we start going high side. So right now, still on watch right here as the NASDAQ wants to go lower and lower and lower. So we will take that Palantir and see what happens with it. Neo, I thought we were getting out there in the teens, but we're not, apparently. So we do have some offers in the teens. Brendan, what's up?
BNTX, I was mentioning in the pre-market, if you joined us, guys, the Moderna looked like one of the strongest vaccine names. I take that back because this is really impressive on the daily chart here for BioNTech, up 10% again today. Just broke that 206, guys.
And that RHE just, opens up and just gives you I shouldn't say no chance because maybe there was. This is not usually on a reopen. I'm looking for it to be a little bit tighter into that sort of halt up price. That's a little too strong when it pushed another like 70 pennies or so. Looks like maybe now that 10-20 area where it did halt could provide some cover. I like 10-15 before, so why not have a look at that 10-20 area? RHE, it is a little bit thinly traded, so I would trade it with a little bit of caution. It's already halted once. I would anticipate it could certainly do it again. Neo now holding now in the 90s. Good thing we took some profit. And Occugen holding right at that 14.25 where we got out the last time. But RHE, and then when BTX opens up, are the next things on watch.
Yeah, so we're just going to watch out for Softy here as the whole market's coming down. So we got to watch out for pretty much all of our positions at this point because we are long, and we saw the NASDAQ last week do a little puke city action. So I'm just getting my stuff ready to load up on Palantir as well. 251, we're trying to get longer here. We just did. Again, look at that. Like we talked about how Microsoft was struggling to break upside there, and then the NASDAQ started falling. That was about as easy of an out as it could be. I just wish we would have got them all out there because then these buys highs would be even better. But now we got a nice little long here, hopefully, on Softy. 251.20 right now. We're going to give it back down to 251 break. That's just the order that we're setting up right now. And then Palantir, we'll take one more 60 bid, and then we got to give it down to 50. So that's my look here for Palantir. But right now, Softy flying a bit. OCGN trying to go back upside, guys.
It just hit high today.
Just hit high of the day, yeah.
Yeah, Oxygen just touched. I mean, it snapped this like 1465, and then it's kind of consolidating here, but it gave you those 50s again. So every buy off that 14 area has been fantastic. It's essentially the only price I've been buying in front of all morning long. If it dips to VWAP, I'll try to take it again, but we're long here at 06s. And Oxygen, you know, we talked about going long and short some of these names. You got to be willing. I said this is one of the things I tried to do more of in 2021, but it's taken a while. It's now May, and Oxygen keeps on going to that upside. Now, NEO is holding below 40, so I would watch out for that one. But these flyers are going. Gonzo and Vaxart, I'm going to look to get back into it, but I did miss the reversal short.
Yeah, man, we're super happy, man. Let's just hit the daps up here for OCGN, guys. You know, it's on my list here. So there it is, man. That's a 30-cent win for you guys if you have that OCGN trade there. The breakouts on my list have just been going crazy as of late. There it is. Wow, another move to the high side there. We just touched 90s. My offer at 98 near that 15 level. So again, we're long 50s, right, guys? So this is a 30-cent win here on this big name. So hopefully you guys are watching OCGN. Let's go. Take out that 90. Here we go. And let's get higher and higher here. Maybe we just take this out. Why am I even waiting for 98s? At this point, it's a big win here for OCGN. So the only thing that we're waiting for now, of course, we've dug in, needless to say, here on Softy. Not a huge position. Will hurt if it fails. But we're long at 19. It just went up into the money. So if the NASDAQ can rally here, I do like this Microsoft position. Quite a great deal, guys.
Yeah, and that BTX opens up basically almost, it's right at that spot range, like 67.5. It tries to press into 70 even. It has failed once. It's a little bit too strong, though. I mean, I got to think that usually if it comes right back into the 67.50, you get some kind of a flush. It's very range bound. I feel like if you take this one, you're almost giving it all the way into like a, and when I say that, I kind of mean the short, all the way into like a 70 even. So I'm going to try and pick some up in this range, but not nearly as big a position as I would have liked, because there's a lot of there's a big time battle being waged here at the 67.5, and the squeezers could certainly win out. There goes NEO one more time into the 25 range. I'll have to take some out of the quarters and then look to see if it can't get back to high a day. But I'm now into that BTX. Brendo?
Another early mover here, guys. Some of the retail names popping up. Here's Gap, GPS up more than 5%, just broke 35 there. That's 52-week highs. A couple of analysts talking positively on the retail group as well.
And yeah, Neil, I know you're talking about NEO, but right now, let's go, man. The money's just flying out right now on all of these longs. We just need Palantir now. As Softy now, 25 cents in the money. NEO, 50 cents in the money. Oxygen, we took that out in the 80s there, 80, 85. That's 30 cents in the money. The only thing we got to wait for now is our friendly Palantir trying to go. So right now we wait for Palantir to go. Other than that, man, it's all on board now. Let's wait to see. We tried to average in, like I thought I did again. I don't know, my keyboard today failing me a little bit. Tried to get some 60s there, missed. That's fine. Our bid is now there. We'll see if Palantir wants to continue to fly. Microsoft, we have taken some out. I'm waiting in the 50s now, though, but we're long at 12. Probably a good spot to get some out. Enjoy this NASDAQ run up, guys.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got to take advantage of the moves, especially off the open. Like, make sure you're making profit. No one ever went broke taking profit. That's why we're going to walk on water. It's been dip buys in NEO, but still hasn't really broken through that 40-50.
Come on,
so
NEO.
I'm going to look. I'm adding to the position on a 40-50 break. You got to go. Trading both ways can also mean taking breakouts by the dip or going long and short. So willing to go both ways in that regard when it comes to NEO. So watch out for a 40-50. Has not done it yet. But it looks like it's getting very, very close to making that break. Watch out also tops, 41.25 on that monster move on the upside. On Friday, I would anticipate maybe a small reversal off of that price if you get the breakout.
There it is. There it is. Let's go. Yeah, man, NEO, big win for me on this one, guys. 70 cents here on NEO. Look at Oxygen. Boom, it goes to 15. So we go chicken dinner winner on Oxygen, guys. Another big win. That's another 50-cent win for you guys given there. So yeah, hopefully you're enjoying this day as much as we are today. Everything working out. The only thing we've lost on so far, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to go 5 for 6. And the only thing we're chilling out with, bye-bye, Oxygen. Adios, amigos. We'll see you around. The only thing that we're waiting for right now is, of course, Palantir, which it looks like, this one's going to get faded out here as the NASDAQ keeps coming up. It tried to go. We went back into the money there, but or flat, I guess, at 85, and then a tank city right back to the downside. So let's pick up a little bit more. But wow, they are hitting Palantir today. We have 50 as our out, guys. So you know what must come down, what does go up must come down, and it looks like Palantir today definitely on the downswing. This will be our only loser. There it is. We just took another spot right there at 61. This will be our big loser today so far, but everything else is motoring as NEO just continues, guys. Good out there near 50. Not only was the level that we wrote down 40.50, but like Neil said, we're playing that as resistance now, right? Until it breaks and then it becomes support. What up, Beat?
We had GE earnings last week. Just double checking. Yeah, it was last week they reported. Another one looking pretty strong here so far this morning, guys. On volume as well. GE up 2%.
Yes, sir. I hit the flush, and that was for the BTX because it looked like it was just dying. But I was able to get my shares here at 69. So 69 is an average price. Got some at 68. Got some above that 69 mark. We talked about the sort of reopen after the halt. It tests the opening range. Well, we'll call it this like into the open range down at 64. And of course, you know, noticing that of course Sean was in that position that could not get past that 60. I wanted to make sure I profited some in here. So I take 2/3 off, and it gets kind of the same structure. At some point, Sean, I'm like you. I'm anticipating a fall to 60 and a break of 60, and then maybe you get down to those 50s. But I got to go with break even. If it's going to hold this level here at 64, there's a good chance it could rip again. And if it breaks 69, it's probably breaking 70, and I'm not holding all the way to 76. So I've taken my profit, and we'll run away on that one. NEO as well did make that break. So I added you see my price is like 33s because I added to it at 50 on the break. If it comes down to VWAP, I think it's going to be worth it, but no juice whatsoever. It went like 3 or 4 pennies, maybe like 5 or 6 actually, off that 40-50 break, and then absolutely nothing for now. But you guys are going to the big screen. Miss V, what do you have?
Daniel Ashford Hospitality and Trust is popular on the chat right now. AHT stock is up around 20%.
So I was watching this one in the pre-market, and again, it's just, this was on my sort of a list to have a quick look at, and then Ocugen and Vaxart came through with news in the pre-market, and I'm not saying I'm regretting it, because I very, very likely would have had a tight stop short off of 315, to be honest with you. It was just such a tight range there. If you could have had like, 5-10 cent winner type ideas in the back of my mind, that obviously hasn't happened. Look, this probably isn't interesting for me for the short until it gets up to like that $4 range, and the momentum doesn't feel like it's going to be that strong in Ashford. So it's likely to be one of those very, very tight, take your 5-10 cent type of moves. For now, it's got a pretty clean trend there. It's not exactly an explosive faded all the way until it breaks, I'd call it 315. And then if it gets below like 290, you're probably asking yourself why you're still hanging on to it on a short-term momentum play. NEO, right back into that 40 range. So it is what it is. The dip buy, as usual, is the better play on NEO. Now we're into VWAP here, so I'm going to leave myself some room like I always do to be able to buy a dip. If I like it to the long side, I want to be taking any consolidation off of that VWAP. There was support at 40 before. You're seeing it not even hold up. Once again, it is all about the dip buy, and 39.75 has been the price. If we hold 40s, I'm going to add to it, but on the way down, I'll either wait for 75s or we'll hold that 40 even, which hasn't happened.
Okay, so here we go. I'm going to just basically lose my mind because Palantir there, I made the low tick of the day again there on Palantir. So like, this just continues. Whenever this happens to Palantir, man, it's so funny. Like, I try to give it a little bit more room there, and I do, but obviously I don't give it enough. As like, I was looking at 60s, man, and then 50 breaks, and then we trigger out at 46, and now we're gonna try one more time, and this time, if it comes back down to the low and we make it, then we're gonna be gone. Losing too much money on Palantir, and we don't need to be when we're perfect, pretty much perfect on everything else. Sans, Vaxart, we're 30 cents out on that name. But NEO, yeah, good outs there, man. Wow. NEO, I don't know what happened to this stupid stock, and I just say that because of the way it's moving today and because of what it did to me on Friday, but made lots of money back here today, guys, and then all of a sudden a tank downside. So I think this is probably worth taking. I don't know if there was any news or whatever that just came out here on NEO, but that was a nice move to the downside. Let's average and take some more here. No idea why that started going down.
Yeah, and speaking of, it's trying to hold that 39.75 area, so I got a little bit back into it, more shares into it as it tried to hold that. But MVIS was another one that, I mean, Brendan talked about the weakness here, and look, we're covering a lot of names here. You don't want to overtrade necessarily, but this was a great one on that weakness. I liked 16, and obviously it's going to be a double top on Friday. It just couldn't quite get there. If this extends from 59 up to like a 75.80, I probably would have been in. You're going to see a big time flush. I think it can bounce back, maybe give you something in the 50 to 75 range, but I'll have to short the pop on MVIS because I might have missed that party, Brendan.
So we were talking about that AHT. Here's another one in that same group, SSY, NYSE Arc Exchange, 30%, just broke 350 there on big time volume. This one also had a nice run up into the close on Friday, guys.
Oh, you know what? Okay, so we just got some more Neo. I just got to make sure I do have something on the sell side. Yeah, breaking through 50 would be disastrous, but we're going to wait to see if that does happen. We'll get some out in the teens if we can. This is going to sound like nuts, but like Palantir, I just took some out at 58 there, or 57, sorry, on Palantir off this 53 long. Like crazy, just trying to make a little bit back on what we've lost. I still want the NASDAQ to bump, which it's trying to do, so let's hold out now for Palantir, and I won't take any more out. We took out like 10% right there on that bump up. Now we'll wait for some 70s, hopefully that can come. Big time win though, man. Big time win with OCGN up to 15 again. We're still watching that one. Neo trying to go. We picked up some I was talking about it down here when I should have been bidding it. Instead, we take a 39.98 trade there. And then Microsoft still that 50 cents in the money. So let's take a spot here on Softy again, taken out here as the market did battle back. So let's put some more money in our pocket with MSFT. What's up, B?
I mentioned Gap early. Here's Macy's, guys, almost. Yeah, there it is. Day highs for Macy's, 4% as well. So retailers very strong early, guys.
Yeah, there's that reopen, retailers in there. Going to go back to Oxygen now. You've had that breakout of 65s. It's now, well, it's also held that on a bit of a dip, and it did try to get through that 15 even, and the first time through, a bit of a failure. I still have only the 14s. I was looking to see if we could get like 1450 on that little dip. It just didn't seem to want to give it to us. I'm still looking at 1450, but I'm hanging on to that one as a nice little winner. That BTX, on the other hand, that's going the other direction. It just tested back to the upside, and I'll have to tighten this up because that chart's a little ridiculous. It just tested back up towards that 69.50 area that I just shorted off of, but it still has not broken the bottom. So you're seeing some support at 65. I'm still short at 69 even, basically 69.08, and I'm looking for an absolute flush. Like I'm almost thinking, break down into 61 and halt down. That's kind of the target here, as we've already scalped some out, and then that's exactly what's happening. So it looks like it might get into a halt position to that downside. My plan of action would be if we can get into that halt to hold through and then take it out on the reopen trade. But man, it just got 60. It looked like it was about to halt at 61 and then bounced $4. So I feel like I'm sitting here and looking a gift horse in the mouth when maybe I shouldn't be. This stock, for whatever reason, just keeps on getting bought up. I should just be taking the $7 when I got it. This is crazy.
Yeah, don't look too many gift horses in the mouth. It's still early. We need to keep that face for the rest of the week, guys. Like that horse will kick you right in your teeth. So watch out there for that. Neo, a nice move back up. We're waiting right here, man, at 13s. No idea why. Lucky number 13 there. I pushed offer up. So we'll wait to see. I mean, we're expecting it to run. So a nice move upside here with that name. Vaxart still chilling, man. We did take another bid down there. We're looking at Vaxart to see if it does want to go back up. We're using 9 as our out there. So just to let you guys know where I'm thinking about an out here on VXRT, it's going to be 9. So we're waiting on that one. And then that's that move. Okay, Neo, did we just get that? Oh my God, we're waiting at 13.
Oh my goodness.
There it is, there's the fill. So good little trade there on NIO. Let's see if it wants to move higher and higher and higher. I like Neo. And then Palantir, we did get some love there. It goes to 63 and we got some out. So again, let's watch out for Palantir on a NASDAQ bump. We like it, guys.
So I'll hit the power up for a BTX, but I saw that spike. It was about anytime a stock is into that range where it's likely to halt, meaning the only prints that can come off are going to be at a higher price, right? So you can't actually go through that bid without it triggering. When you see it bounce back like that, in a squeeze play, I'm just going to take the profit. You saw it live here. I probably gave up an extra $1, but 62.5 is going to have to be good enough. I got 72s. That'll work out to shy of that $7 win, so like just over a $6 win if you want to count the change there on BTX. I'm not necessarily happy with it because I feel like there's more at some point on this stock, but you got to take what has been given to you, and that's all it wants to do. That Oxygen, On the other hand, this is what happened to Oxygen at the same moment. It just flushed in. So I didn't pick any up here. I was actually probably thinking about that 1450, but there was just no stop in sight, no bid. I'm not going to jump in front of it. I'm holding 14s, and I kind of feel like that's the price I'll defend. Oxygen rolling back over, and it got to 10s. Maybe you could have had some there. I hope somebody did, because that was a quick little spike if you had that Oxygen sort of sitting down there. I like the 14. I have 06s. I had 09s the other time before. I should have bumped up to like 10s to 15s, I suppose.
Okay, so I thought, did we just take, oh no, I did not, because my order is stuck. So there it is. We'll get out some 80s. There it is. Okay, nice. We just took some 80s out there on Softy. So look at this run, guys. Like 251. This is $1 now in the money on MSFT. So hell yeah, things going well for us right now. Besides Palantir, of course, which now is going fine. This was actually our largest single position, but we've already fallen down. There it is, right back to VWAP. We did call that. So thank God we're making some of this money back. We did empty out a decent amount of shares. We have half left now as we approach VWAP. So a good battle back here for Softy. There's no doubt about that. We got our Neo love. Let's take another piece out, man, right now for Neo. That's 50 cents in the money. Microsoft's $1 in the money. Palantir's 21 cents. Oxygen has come back in. But again, you know, we're out of that one. Well, maybe I'll just get out the rest here at 14.50. It made its move, and we already took it. So let's not get too greedy on OCGN. What's up, Brendan?
Yeah, another one trying to bounce here. DraftKings guys came into 57, got right back above it. So we're trying to get back to the upside. Just had volume alert there on DKNG.
Ooh.
And I'm going to go with the arrows up, because I just got a bunch of that Neo out there, as it also made that spike through into that like 25 range. Here's the issue. I mean, this is sort of that opening range before it made the push to 50s, where you had that failed breakout. So you got to take some of that profit off. You're going to get like a double dip down in here where our original bounce buy was. So you take the hit on your 40, 50s and go back to what was working, which is, you know, making the money on the long off of that 39.75. At some point, I still think there's a shot that it breaks out. So, you know, I want to be net long as long as it holds these levels. But you got to make that money in the meantime. Here comes MVIS, right? So obviously missed that first little flush. I want to see it test back in to the previous lows, that 1450 to 60. Gets anywhere close to there, I'm starting back in on, well, not back into. I guess it'll be the first short I'll have on MVIS. Just doesn't even seem like it has the legs to get to those prices.
No, I mean, MVIS, again, one of those big Twitter names, that's for sure. And we got, you know, we've traded that last week, or not Twitter, Wall Street Bets names and Twitter, I guess. Okay, OCGN, we out for flat there. So in at 55, out at 50. We could have held it. But again, just wanted to make sure that we put all these wins in our pocket, right? Don't need this thing to retrace back to like 14, and then we'll be in trouble. So we are out of that one. And looks like Palantir was not a horrible decision to get some out there at the 70s, as we said. Look at the NASDAQ coming back in. Palantir coming back in. The NASDAQ continues to move higher. So for me, when I see that relationship start to like, disconnect, a big red flag there. So we did get out, starting to happen. The NASDAQ starting to run upside. You guys can see that. We can see our Softy trade. I mean, talk about a monster. This is my #1 stock today, Microsoft. And again, we threw to Tesla, and I went right over to Softy, and I said, just such a safer trade because we did have those bottoms at 251, 250 that we saw on Friday. So yes, sir, a nice little $1.50 win now for MSFT. Sometimes hard to get $1.50s on Microsoft. So really, really happy with the way this one's turning out here, Brendo.
Another little pharmaceutical just popping up here. Citius, CTXR, Citius Pharmaceuticals. Up big time today, 14+%, just made a day high there. They just updated their current quarter, similar to that Vaxart this morning. This one, however, pretty positive, guys.
Like, is it like Darth Sidious? Oh, really? Is that like a joke? Because it's like May the 4th be with you tomorrow. Anyways, yeah, I'm a nerd. It is what it is. Oxygen here, I mean, give me a break. Yeah, so I really thought when it flushed like this, I mean, you're going to see that candle off of that failed 15 break. I'm like, yeah, for sure it's going to give you another shot here to be able to go long in front of the 14. I threw the bid thinking there'd be a second dip, and of course there is not. If we don't get back to the high of the day, there is a point at which I'm not going to chase those dip buys. For the time being, this is multiple failed breaks at 15 even. When you see something like that, if it starts to come back in and hold VWAP, I don't know if I want to be buying it so shallow in front of it. So either this move gets back to that 15 range and we can assess the strength there, or I'm going to have to go ahead and cancel these bids. I'm still holding those 14 evens, so we'll go with that. It's still been a good trade. Unfortunately, it looks like it's running out of steam possibly unlock. Well, maybe not. Actually, back at 75s. NEO here is starting to pull back in, so I'm only going to go down into this dip range at 39.75. At some point, it's likely to break the bottom of this range, and I'm not going to hold through. You've made the money. I'm not turning this into a negative one. I'm not averaging into death, which was sort of the problem on Friday. If it breaks that 75, I'll look for a tighter stop re-entry at 39.50, but we'll be patient buying the dips. Now that the first half an hour has played itself out, NEO's been a good one. I think it can get better, but I'll be patient down around that 39.75.
Yep, that's the same thinking over on this side, guys. You got to watch out for NEO. We've talked about that over and over again here, guys. And that was a good out that we had in the 20s there, but it's right back. So it does make that move down, and now I got to clean up this wick, of course, because it wicked all the way down there, and that's not good for our charts. I'm going to hold out. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to hold out to see if we get way lower here. We've seen that happen to us before on NIO. So let's wait to see. If we get lucky enough to get a downward pick, we'll do that for sure. So here it goes. Palantir right back at that day's low again. NASDAQ coming back down. We saw that disconnect. We average in at the exact same price here. Let's just see if it goes, man. I mean, this is not going to be a big hit. Our average is 53. If it takes out 45, then we gone. So well worth it here from a risk standpoint for me. So we're going to take that shot. But as the NASDAQ comes down, this is obviously going to punch us out. So we don't even have to look at it, but that's my risk tolerance. Only a couple more pennies now for Palantir as it just keeps on getting worse. I'm thinking I need to trade it with less shares and be able to hold it for longer. But then if I trade it with less shares, then getting out for like 15, 20 cents, it doesn't do anything. So I don't know. We might have to switch our game plan up here with Palantir and leave it alone for a couple days until it does get going. Microsoft, last piece out, holding very, very small for Microsoft. So I feel like if there was any name that we had diamond hands on today, it was Softy, because you could see here, man, in and out, took this, and then big averages down here, and then right to the upside. So a good little trade there for MSFT. But it's Brendan time at the big screen, guys.
All right, guys, 10 o'clock. Yeah, we were talking about that ISM number just out, 60.7 versus 65 estimated for last month. Again, ISM manufacturing 60.7 versus 65 from last month. So heads up on the overall market here. Let's have a look at some of these markets right now. The Dow, nice day so far, 0.9. It is the Dow that's leading key there. The Russell also having a nice day, 0.68 to the upside. The TSX here in Toronto about the same, 0.73 at the moment. The S&P 0.5%. Brazil's up nicely, 0.4%. Here's the NASDAQ, both of them, the composite and the 100. They are positive, but only just on the day, 0.07, 0.13. That is some South American markets that we're keeping a track on just to see overall sentiment. mRNA, we're talking about Moderna here in the pre-market with positive news. Did have a nice little run there right at the open, but it's given it all back and then some. Stalled out at 189. We're back to 183. Still decent volume, though, coming in on Moderna. AAL, yeah, we talked about the airline, some positivity up in the pre-market here, but this group as a whole, giving it all back as well. 21.5 was this area from Friday on AAL. Guys, back over to you.
And back over to us and back to RHE. So Regional Health, spiked up to 14. I mean, look, you had a couple of halts on the way up here. I'm actually surprised it didn't halt going into that move at 14. Pulls back into VWAP, and look at this hold. I mean, it's held this 1070 like rather nicely. If it gets back up towards the top, obviously strength, I'm not touching. If it breaks up to like all the way to 14, that's a heavy wick there. I'd be a little bit concerned about that on the 3-minute. I'd much rather play a short off of like a 1250 area, but this one is getting sort of squeezed to death a little bit here. I'm gonna have to go over to NIO because one more time, you're seeing NEO do that dance. We just got a fill there on NIO, so we'll do the fist bump. Because it's right into this 40.35 one more time. Now, last time on this little spike up, we bought the dip at 39.80. It stalled out here at 40.35, so I missed the dip buy again. I should have had it, but if it goes that same price, I'll take some more profit. I'm still trying to hold through a breakout of 40.50. It tried once. I took some shares there, and of course that didn't work. Thankfully, you're able to get these like 40, 50-cent scalp winners that'll pay for it back. But it's the dip buy and the dip buy only for me now on NIO, and we need that run. Want to be able to hold some through 40.50, but it's got to get there first. Take your profit where you can. If it breaks the bottom end of this range, then that would have been a failed break big time at 40.50. And there's a lot of gap to be filled. There's a big gap to be filled here. If you just look at the run that came up from like that 37.50, so a lot of profit taking could come into this stock if it breaks a low. So I'll be very, very patient in terms of buying that dip.
Yeah, you're right, guys. I'm going to take this Palantir off the watch list. Look at that. I made another bottom wick. So that's like one bottom wick on decent shares. There's another bottom wick on decent shares, and now we're higher than we were. So look, guys, if like I said, I don't have a problem doing this. The ego doesn't get in the way. If you don't have a good read on something, like let's move on. I was 19-2 last month. Like I don't need to sit here and wonder about where to make money. If it's not going to be Palantir today, then it's not going to be Palantir today. We'll just keep on chugging along with what's working, right, guys? And that's including with Softy. You know, I say this is my number one stock for a reason, because it is. Microsoft, I think I've made the most money on this thing. I think last year probably was Palantir for the most part, but we just go back to the well. Those of you that have watched the show from the jump knows where it's good with here with Softy. So a nice little run to the high side. I want to buy more Microsoft today, hand over fist if I can, in the long-term account. What up, Beep?
A little bit of cannabis news, guys. We were talking about, or saw anyways, Tilray was up in the pre-market. Another one that's kind of giving it all back here right off the bat. Now down 2%. The merger has been completed between Tilray and Aphria. Shares on the TSX here in Toronto going to start trading May 5th after that deal is completed, guys.
There you go. Finally in the books, that one. And in the books will be the Ocugen trade off that 14. Now, it's taken a few cracks at this 15 area. I wanted it to break the high, obviously, but it just pulled back. And I mentioned without me, they were getting any shares down about that 14.10, which is real. It did get down to 14.10 and 11s. I got nothing back into it, so I'll take it out. I'll get 90s. That'll end up being like an 80-cent winner. I still think there's a breakout to be had, but I can just look at a 15-10 break. If it holds its consolidation, I'm buying in front of 14, and I'm buying a 15-10 break, which is very similar to NEO, only NEO is at the high of the day finally. So it's making another run at that top through 40.50. I'm still hanging on to the dip buy here, and I want to do the same thing in Ocugen if I get that dip. There's still the breakout to be had, though. 15.10 would be it for me, not 15 on OCGN. Brendan?
Another big mover from last week, UXIN, just popping up here through 350. Volume coming in at day highs here. That's above this range now from last week. Yeah, 15% again for UXIN.
Ugh, yeah, we saw that last week, ugly one there for UXIN. So, yeah, okay, just looking around here, making sure that we're getting in and out of what we want to. And there it is again, guys. Wow, we just keep on missing we just talked about that with Palantir, like right back to a level where we probably would have started to get out some of our 53s, but unfortunately we did take that 12-cent hit there. So that is Palantir, the only losing stock that we have on board. Pending, well, we don't have anything on board right now, just Microsoft. Pending this move right here, guys, on VXRT. So we're long right now, 979. So it's fine. We want to give it back down to 9 here. If it breaks 9, we'll get out. But right now, looking like it's trying to go upside again. We'll see. If we can get to 10 on VXRT, then we'll be gone. Oh, man, do I hate you for sure, Palantir, as you are now. Yeah, not good, man. All the way back to the upside. Hopefully, you guys are able to hold some of that. Good move on Palantir. We're going to look for more, though. I think Uber needs to be bought. I talked about that all last week as well. That Uber was beat down a little bit. It was very much loved for a reopen trade, which you've seen. I mean, it was basically at the beginning of the year right here where it started to get a lot of love, like when it moved from 50 to 65 or so, and now it's just doing a dance here. So let's see. They report this week, so I do like Uber on an upswing here. Maybe if we take out, I'm going to sneeze, if we take out the day high here, 55.82, that might be something to look at here with Uber, guys. High of the day.
And I'll ride the bull trade. I almost said bear out of absolute instinct. I'll ride the bull trade on NEO. Just broke through that 40.75. You know we like the 50s in the quarter. So when it finally makes that breakthrough 50s and sustains it, I take some out there at that quarter mark. Now, we've been buying a bunch here below that, between, I should say, that 39.75 and that 40 evens. There was that one failed break at 40.50. It is what it is. Now we're looking at 41 even on NIO. Let's just quickly look at the 15. Now the top of this move was right here at 41 and a quarter. I looked to take this long position out in front of Friday's high. Look for a dip buy or 41.25 breakout and start playing scalp trades on the breakouts, and then maybe dig in on the dips. As once again, NEO showing a heck of a lot of strength, of course, off the deliveries numbers. It's not at 41 yet, but I like that 41.25 to definitely be flat on this trade.
So here it is, guys. Diamond hands for the $2 winner now on Softy. So good. I'm still so mad about Palantir making bottom wick 3 times. But Microsoft, we don't. 254 right now on Softy. Look where we're long. You can see it, 251.86. Even when it was tanking here, we were talking about buying this one. Obviously, we normally do get out when we see some consolidated levels, which is right here. So we did take some out, but then we did, you could tell. I mean, the majority of this out here, especially above VWAP, and then now we're holding a small percentage point here, about 10% left on Softy. So still a good call, good upside move here on Microsoft. So we're looking at that. We're looking at Uber trying to break. Just to check back here, we've had that BTX short. Actually left that alone. Probably should have gone back over to it as it's now 64. I said I liked the 67 breakdown again. I know there was a halt there. So you can see if it does go down to the downside one more time. Watch out for 61 breaking there. Might be one to get out of the way. Everything else, man. Apple, damn it. I'm not upset because we crushed Microsoft. You guys can see that. The one thing I'm most upset about here is that Apple was another name that we did have on our watch. I didn't take any levels. It's just I talked about the most beat down tech names from last week, and Apple was just one of them for no reason. Again, had one of the best quarters I've ever seen, and Apple just comes off last week just in some of that profit taking. So watch out, man. I mean, this is a beautiful name. You should be buying Microsoft and Apple even right now if you feel that you're underexposed. These names are only going higher.
Yeah, and just watching right in that target range of NIO, which is also going higher. It just turned. I just got out there at 41s. It just turned around. I said I'd take profit in that 41 to 41.25 range. I don't want this going to turn on me and then throw away that profit. It's going to be actually about $1 from our last re-entry point there. They're all in that 39.94, and then this entry here was in the 39.80s. So you get that dollar in NEO. You got to be happy with it. Obviously, the short was, it stunk on Friday. We'll be honest about that. I just kind of felt that 41 to 41.25 was going to be a turn point. If it does little dip here, I'd probably look at the previous high of 40.50 as a place to try to buy that little dip to get back into position. The new one that I got into, and we talked about how Brennan mentioned MVIS. I missed the boat. Let's be honest. I missed the boat on MVIS the first time through on that weakness. It comes into VWAP. I'm able to get some shares here all the way up at 43, but my first entry was at 31, so a 38 average price. I just got some out in the front of this 40 range, so this one's going to work, and we'll hit the whatever this thing is going to be called. MVIS to the sell side. If it breaks 14 even, I like more shares out in the 80s, as of course you look at this bottom here at 1370. After missing out on the first move, I never anticipate the second one to be as good, but as long as we hold VWAP in that 1470 area between those two, I want to be net short in MVIS. It's not, I think it is short sell restricted, although I hadn't had to put that to the test. I've only bought sold on the pops.
Yeah, for me too. I don't know about MVIS. I was waiting for that. So good short. I guess we have borrowables, so that's for sure. Brennan, give us something else.
You to pay.
Both, it's worth noting, guys, both gold and silver putting in pretty impressive moves here today. This is just the silver ETF. You can look at PSLV as well. This thing just tagged 25 there. Huge volume coming into SLV, guys.
Yeah, it's SSR, people are saying, because I guess it was down more than 10%, obviously, on Friday. So,
right.
Okay, CCL there. We can have a quick look at this name. Again, like Microsoft, Apple, these stocks still ripping, man. We talked about them and why they would work, and it seems like they are working today, that's for sure. CCL not really working today. It does have a nice dip down to 27.50, and now looking to take out the top. Shout out to Daryl. If you have any opinions here on CCL, let us know. But we are getting a little high on this name, I think, anyways. But the reopen play is here. 28 and change is here as well. We've had some issues. Here's a 20 period for CCL. 2018, 2020. We've already been at these levels, so I'm looking to fade off this 28.40, a little bit higher, and I think we'll start to build a short off of the pre-market high on CCL. But look at the NASDAQ, man. The market's trying to go now. NASDAQ up half, ES up 0.3, so looks like the market's taking off to the upside here. So good trading on a lot of these names. Maybe the short is going to be wrong. The long is right on Apple, that's for sure. Should have looked at that one.
Yeah, and probably should have had a closer look at. We talked a little bit about Lyft and Uber. It gave a little bit of a move to the upside. Now I'm looking at this on Lyft in particular. Sorry, I said Lyft and Uber, but I'm looking at Lyft in particular. Double top 57.25, only up 2%. Doesn't always do the most volume, but if you start thinking about that cluster that just held, you go all the way back and you see this. Okay, we'll go 55s, 55s, 55s on this little pullback. So that's why there could be a potential break at least into Friday's top, and then going back into Thursday when it had that recovery into 58.25. That's about $1 worth of range if you get that 52.75 break. Both things reporting. That's Lyft and Uber at the end of the week. So add that to the radar of names to talk about. NEO, it did break this 41.25, if ever so briefly, before immediately starting a reversal. I thought when I got out at 41 that was going to be the turn. Clearly, of course, every time I get out in a target range, it's likely going higher as opposed to giving me the dip buy that I want. So take that with a grain of salt when I get out of these for the last little bit. It's usually going 20 to 25% further. Beggars can't be choosers. I find with that last 10%, I'm always begging though. NBIS, it just turned off of 1390. They had a bid down here to get some more shares out. Looks like it could be heading back up to VWAP. I will get more short, but that'll be around this 35 to 40 range that I got it the first time.
So I'm going to test out DraftKings here. It's already been low, low, low. And this is the name that we were waiting for. We wanted it to see what it wanted to do through 58, right? So, and this was not a stop order that got triggered. I went over to DraftKings to have a look to see as we were breaking highs. We talked about not trading this off the open, letting it settle down. Obviously, we've missed a huge move to the upside here on DKNG, but it is breaking. That's a big candle upside there. So I'm going to give it back to 57.50 and just see if DraftKings wants to move that 50 cents today to the upside. This is only like a 1-to-1 ratio here. I can't believe Palantir still, but just like a 1-to-1 ratio on DraftKings, seeing if it wants to hold right now, this 58. So we're going to give it back down to 57.50 right here, sort of where this move started, and then we'll see if it can go. But I mean, I don't know. We've talked about it over and over again here. Even the 20 period gives us to this 58.50 level. So that's kind of what we're looking at right here off this break. So 50 cents upside, 50 cents downside. I still think worth the shot here on PLTR. So, I was looking at Palantir on DraftKings, 57.50. Average in a little bit, maybe right here one time. Average in at the quarters, and then we'll take it downside. So I like this trade. Let's see if it works.
Yeah, exactly. And starting to think about it, I mean, I only find myself, we got that NVIS a second ago, but I'm just sitting here staring at that OCGN and another test of 15.10. So look, it got up, broke 15, fail break once, fail break twice, got to 15.10, then tried to break 15 and then flushed almost a full dollar. Now we're making another run at that top. I still like the long break on OCGN. This time it's not even really giving you these pullbacks into VWAP. So I'll have to do away with that dip buy. There it is. There's a break. I didn't even get any shares. It just spiked. Let's see if I can't pick something up here. Do I want to pay all the way to 20s? I mean, you kidding me? So I just got 20s on that break. I missed the initial. If it's a big time, like you saw this reversal last time, if it does the same thing, I kind of don't want to let it go through that 15 even and then pick some shares up at like 14, call it like 65 to like 70 if it can hold that midpoint. But OCGN, there it goes. Yeah, so I guess 20 wasn't so bad after all, having to pay up a little bit on that 15.10 break. Just can't seem to stop going here. It's up 20%. Let's see how far OCGN can go.
Yeah, we got out obviously way too early on OCGN. We got out for flat there on our last little trade. So not a good one there for me on OCGN, but still happy with it. DraftKings, I mean, a good stock for me today, positive on OCGN. You could always be bigger, right? That's the one thing about that. So DraftKings, we didn't get that average in. It only went to 80s or so, 85, 86. We're going to wait for 70s on this name, but we do like it. So that's a good one. Our Vaxart's not doing anything, but look what's happening right now as we spit out the cash as well here today on Microsoft, just still motoring to the upside here on this NASDAQ day. So a big move up here. We still have these shares. It's an impressive trade, but unfortunately we don't have enough left, but still got some. So good move to the upside here. We can zoom this out. I don't really know. Maybe I can go back to that infamous 20 period. The reason why I like a 20 periods, it gives like about a week worth here, right, of data. So we can sort of see where we've come from and if there's any levels that we may be missing. 54, so like even right here, maybe 255 maybe. That's still a way to go, but that's the 200 period, 255.25. So something to go here on this name, and I like it a lot, guys. Microsoft, I don't think any reason to get out of this name right now. I do not see one. So let's wait to see high move on Microsoft. Good win, man, $2.50 in the money. Vaxart's getting close to, not getting close to coming out, but we don't want to hold this one past 9. So VXRT, kind of the sleepy one for us.
Yeah, and that Ocugen, it gave me the break. I was able to get some shares out there in the 30s. I then bought the dip, and then remember I said I'll give it to that 15. It immediately flushed me out through 15, and then doesn't follow through. So it doesn't even give you that push down into 65, 75. So just like with NEO, right? You get in the long side of a trade like this, and again, it was buying dips on NEO. When it comes to the top end break, probably not giving enough room, expecting that there's going to be, and when it gives that little failure, there's going to be a bigger dip. Clearly, when you take off long position, it's so I can get it at 30, 40 cents lower and then not dig in too deep when I've already, sort of seen this make a move from when we're long at 14s, and now you're looking at that 10% move. No big retracement just yet on Ocugen, so it's even stronger than I anticipated. And I got to start thinking about the fact that this MVIS consolidating off of 14 even. So the stronger this consolidation gets, the fewer shares I'm going to want if it gets back into that 1450 range. And I haven't forgotten about BTX. It's just if I'm going to come in and, like you, Sean, think about shorting this stock, when it gets this strong, we talked about it, like just cannot seem to follow through. You get the halt to the downside. They're able to hold 61s multiple times here, and now it's trying to break back up through that 70 even. Wow. So if we get a 70 break, I kind of feel like it's likely headed all the way back into that 80, and I'll wait for that move. I just cannot bring myself to be long in this stock, despite all of the gains that you could have had. And like Sean said, congratulations to anybody that gained on the long. I don't see it. It's a pure short squeeze, and it's already come a little bit too far for my liking. But the 70 break is certainly coming. I'll let it happen, and then look for something in the high 70s that I can play off that 80s, because the stock is nuts.
And we've lost on one name today, Palantir, and it's my favorite ones. That sucks that we lost that one's two. Okay, so just here on Microsoft. Oh, AMD, this name, this sector is just getting annihilated right now. Intel, AMD, NVIDIA, we can have a look at them all. I've been talking about AMD, I prefer it. I'm a buyer of AMD after the show as well. You want to keep knocking down the best, then I'm going to keep buying it. So I love this AMD, and this again looks very, very similar to some of those names that we talk about, man. I like it. Let's just see if it can come through. AMD holding these bottoms. No idea what's going on. I mean, I do have an idea what's going on. I just think it's well-deserved beat down here for AMD because of the sector, but the company is definitely motoring. So 80.41, man, breakout upside on AMD to go with all the other winners we've got on board right now. Softy's still going. And I wanted, before I throw to Brendan, just because you guys may be in Softy, okay, 253.90 or so is going to be my out. So let's call it 253.75 back downside. We'll get out at there. But Brendan at the big screen right now with small cap recap. I got this one on board.
Hey guys, yeah, small cap time. We've, I think, all been trading these, so it'll be a quick one today because you've covered them very well. VXRT, we had a couple of levels from Friday that you could have used, 1150, and then 11 ended up being a little bit of support going into the end of the day on Friday. So once that news came out, it retested that 11, gave you an opportunity all the way down to 960. That was all in the pre-market, worth noting. 1050 then was this initial support on the way down. I actually tried this on this pop to 10. Had to get out of it. There was just looking way too strong, but reverses immediately. This thing's running out of gas, it kind of feels like to me right now. 960 is a pivot. I'm just using that at this point. It needs to go, though. Pick a direction and do something for VXRT. Not doing a heck of a lot at the moment. Microvision, yeah, the other one, 1550. It was this level from late in the day on Friday. Couldn't get above that in the pre-market. We tested to the number at the open there, and then it just falls apart. So we're heading to day lows on Microvision, guys. Back to you.
I mean, that one's at least doing something, that Microvision. I see some people talking about Twitter here, and look, this weakness. You look at this cluster. I'm going to go back because I think we talked about this last week, getting into this like 53.50, 54 area. I mean, if this breaks, I mean, I'm gonna check Pinterest in a quick second here. I'm probably gonna get really, really patient with Twitter if it cannot seem to hold this. So you're gonna get some pullback, but wow, I didn't really see this secondary push coming that week. Otherwise, that would have been like a clean 55 break. I'm stepping back on this one in terms of picking a bottom until we test that 53.50 area. And if that goes, I don't know, it kind of looks to me like 50 would be the next spot. So I couldn't even look at it at 52 and a half. I'll have a look at Pinterest in a second, but that's a lot of weakness there that you're seeing in Twitter in particular. And I'll check back in on Pinterest in a second. But I wanted to go to Ocugen because it shook me out to the upside there, like I mentioned. It's tried to get back towards that high, but 1540 was as high as it got. I got some shares in front of it, so that breakout trade will at least be flat for me. But it continues its strong rise, and it's doing so without me. I still want to dip into 1465 to 1475. I wouldn't rule another try to break out, but from here it'd have to be smaller size after what happened the last time. So if it takes out that high a day, I'll probably take a small look at it for that 1540 and then wait for that dip, which just hasn't been coming at any point. And BTX, I mean, you got to be kidding me, right? Like, I sort of said I'll let it break that 70 area, and then it's probably going to make a strong move up, and I can short it off those highs. It just died again off of 72. So while it doesn't seem to want to break through 61, that was just a 10% retracement. That'll happen without me. I'm going to pick my spots very carefully with this one because of the heavy short interest and the wild price actions. So make sure you see the trade first and then hit it. Don't just jump into any consolidation because you happen to favor the short side. Certainly that would have worked here, but the market's going to reward you sometimes for doing things that go against your plan. I'm going to try to avoid that, especially with a stock like BTX.
Okay, so we're out of Microsoft, and someone on here said, Anthony, can we get some hot dogs? Hot dogs, like I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about, other than it's hot dog cannon time. So there we go. We'll fire off some hot dogs right now as we get out of our Microsoft trade. Big win, but it does come out, and again, just being disciplined there. 253.70, if I can call it up for you. There it is. 253.70 out. We give up. Again, that was only our last 10%. If we had more, then we would have got out earlier. So that's a nice out there. And then it was marketing something there. Here goes marketing department. Yo, what's up, marketing department? Hopefully you're doing well, and the marketing is going well for you as well. Yeah, I did lose. So Palantir is the stock that we've lost on that, and right now, position pending. We've already taken money out of VXRT, but that's the only other stock that we've lost on. So we did lose on Palantir, for sure, and we did lose. That's it. So Palantir and Vaxart. And then again, position pending on this one as we just got an average in on DraftKings. This one went in the money, 30 cents. Basically, that was 30 cents if you wanted it. You could have had it. I was waiting for 50 cents. We talked about that one on the 20 period. So there's the average in. We're going to get out on the dip down. Just got to make sure I do have that order out, and I do. So that's good in case I talk and thing flies downside. 58.50 right here. So that's going to be an out. See, now that we have this average in, I can use some of these levels now because right now my average price is $9.89. So I can get out now at 20 if we do come back to the upside and be happy with that piece. But for right now, DraftKings coming down. I'm going to use 57.50. We talked about the target area for this trade. So happy with the way this one's looking for right now. Not happy, but it's our price. We're long at 57.89. So we're flat on this. I still have upside targets there. On some new deals with DraftKings, look, we had Kentucky Derby come through. Gambling, basketball is going to be coming to the playoffs. Baseball, that'll get spicy in the playoffs again for gambling. And then NFL's coming right around the corner. Everyone just saw the draft. There's big gambling on the draft as well. Anyways, who cares? Let's just wait to see. We'll probably be wrong on DraftKings, but that's my target, 58.30 or so now. The day's high. We'll get out a little bit before that, and then we'll get out at 57.50. And look, whether or not you like the trades that me and Neil are talking about, whether or not they win or they lose, that's not the point. Well, the point is that they win, but just understand where we're getting in, where we're getting out, and then you can apply some of these things to other names, right? So that's just what we're doing here. Hopefully you're learning from us.
Sean, before we go to Brendan,
go ahead.
Danger Will Robinson, this RHE looking hella strong on the reopen. Now, we always have these halt trades. If it opens back up and tests the halt price but goes to the downside, so it held it the first time. I shorted in front of it. I got 13.40s here as an average price. I got one dip for like a 50 penny winner, and now it's immediately challenging the top. So I'm dumbfounded. I just got out there, just got stopped out, and it's going to be a relatively tight stop when I'm fighting up against one of these stocks. But this is insane. It's in holding VWAP. It's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 halts now on RHE, and I thought that was going to be it. That kind of felt like it was a flush into VWAP there. It just shook me out a little bit. Thankfully, it'll be a winning trade because I took profit and had a tight stop. But watch out. Be very, very careful if you're going on the south side of this trade. You have got a heck of a screamer here on RHE. Brendan?
UPS, guys, we mentioned it last week off of earnings. Monster report for UPS. I think it was this day. We had that big technical break to the upside. This is now all-time highs for UPS today, up 4% again.
what?
Yeah, I mean, trade those names. You mentioned Gap as well today on the run. UPS, another one. I actually want to check out that Gap trade here because, yeah, Gap and Macy's, always good names. I wonder, Brendan, if you could check for maybe the short interest on Gap. Because you know, I know that a lot of these names get hammered on the short side by short trades, so shorters, I guess. You know, making plays on options, making plays on the physical as well. The physical, talking Bitcoin here, but the actual stock. So big move upside. Not really sure. We can call up a 20-minute chart here for Gap just to see how far we've traveled today. Yeah, well above. A pullback into 34.70 would be beautiful. That was a great take this morning. If anyone had that 34.70 on move, yeah, right there, beautiful trade. Yeah, breaking out basically right off the open there, comes back down, tests that 34.70 again. So watch out for it to pull back in 34.70. DraftKings, man. Okay, Vaxart, there's another loser, so that slays us. And it looks like DraftKings may get the best of us right now as well, looking to break through 57.60. But there it is, man. There's another loser. So it's funny, the two lowest alphabetically that I've traded today, because I have them my net sorted there, Palantir and Vaxart, the two losers so far. But I'm looking to get back into Palantir. That one could be spicy still.
I'll tell you this much. We'll go gates of hell action, and not for RHE, because that stock's just, I mean, it's through the moon. So thank goodness we got out of that one. I mean, MVIS just pushed out to the downside. This short is working, but it's held that low, at least for now. 1370 has been putting in a higher low, at least in front of that 1380 mark. So it's still weak. It never really, this consolidation, I was a little bit afraid it was going to break back up into VWAP, and I take a few less shares than the average in. But so far, so good. I want to hold through a break at the low of the day, just given how weak MVIS has looked, and I'm now back on board with getting some more shares up around VWAP if I can. RHE just now retook 14 even. Maybe this still is it. Brendo?
All right, 10:30 guys. Coming up in about 45 minutes, we have a great guest. There he is. Yeah, Andrew Keigle going to come through, co-founder and CEO of Tokens.com. He is the former CEO and co-founder of Hut8. A few of you may be familiar with that big giant miner in the crypto space. So fitting, great guest coming up for 11:15 today, guys. Given the strength in the markets, we've seen the crypto markets, that is. Let's get a check on European markets. There's an hour left in the session over in Europe today. What's up, V?
Hey, Brendan, Europe is positive, trading with light volumes as UK markets are closed for May bank holiday. German Lufthansa is up around 3%, following plans to offer more than 100 flights to holiday destination. Back to you.
Yeah, we've seen some individual strength in some of the travel names so far, but a lot of them giving it back, guys.
Cannot get over this already. Okay, whatever. I got to stop staring at this stock because it's going to make me want to jump into this short off of this 1440 high, and it just keeps on pressing. But you're actually seeing a little bit of a slowdown. I mean, the tape is starting to slow down a little bit up here. It's very, very tempting with a tight stop to the high. You know, I'm going to see if I can't give it a little bit of a try here. I don't want to chase too far. Come on, don't make me chase. Don't make me chase. Don't make me chase. I should just be chasing down to 14. So it is what it is. I'll just take some at 96 here. Going to hit that little bid. If it breaks the high, I'm out. This is now like a 1430, 1431. I mean, you can round it up if you want to. If it takes out that high, there's no way I'm holding through the high today. You could say that 1415. I just sort of feel like if it breaks that, it's going to be way too nasty for me. So this retreat again, like it. You think it's going to be the turn, it goes like 30 or 40 cents or so, tops, and then it just gets bought. So every single dip just bought up a little stronger than I anticipate. It has to retake this halt price at 13.56 to get a real flush. If that's going to be the case, I'd like to take shares out where we got it the last time, that 12.80 to 13 range, but it kind of feels like it wants to take out high of the day, and that'll be another 40 penny that we lose. Got profit the first time. This time I didn't even get any profit on the short yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, sometimes we got to be patient with some of these plays, guys. And I don't know. We're pretty much on target here with the patient comment here, that we are waiting now, patiently waiting for DraftKings to go. It does come right down to almost our kill spot there at 50. Basically, it does come down to that spot, but we don't get killed there. We wait. So we waited for that play. We should have probably averaged in again, but that was slippery. It looked like we were going to get stopped out there. So let's not get too excited here about DraftKings until we get that move up to 57 and change. It's the only position I'm holding right now. This DraftKings as we've been not stopped out, but we talked about that Vaxart out there as well. And then the one trade that I missed, I said Uber at 55.70 on that break, and for some reason I didn't put the order in either right there, but a nice break on Uber to the high side. We're down here, 55.70, there it is right there, nice little break to the high side, and now looking to take out maybe day's high. Uber 56.09, check back in on AMD, man. I want this long, I just don't know where to find it. It's down, down, down still. It's consolidating beautifully. We pegged that 840 level, never gets there. Good thing we didn't peg 820. You got to wait for a little bit higher on AMD. We'll see if it wants to go. There goes DraftKings now, making us a winner on this one. 18 cents, 20 cents now in the money on DraftKings. But yeah, AMD, I guess I got to go short on this name, down 2%. What is the biggest one doing right now? Let's check out the bad boy, NVIDIA. How much are you down today? Okay, so you're up. So I guess this maybe is just an AMD story. Let's check Intel as well. You know what? I may buy SMH then if all of this is going to be down, and the only one down is AMD. Intel battling as well today. Okay, so Brendan, maybe did AMD get downgraded or something? Maybe we can find out what's up with that. There goes, damn it. Uber just continues to run up, guys. I hope you had that. Uber making the run today. I've already traded 135 fills today, but Uber should be another one if we take out the high at 56.10. I like that.
Worst trader ever. RHE, like this is the definition of greed. The definition of greed. It gives that pullback. It comes right into that 1350 area where I was like shorting off that halt. I'm like, oh, it broke the halt price. Let's see if it can't go any further. I had my bids down in front of 13 even. Instead of just taking some out for that profit like we did the first time, I don't do it. Anytime that happens and it hits my stop, I'm just going to get out. Maybe it turns here, but when you got a bad read like that, it was... To waste an entry point like this when you're going counter trend and not get any profit is kind of stupid. So I'm going to walk away from this stock and go back over to MVIS, go back into any NEO, and then watch out Oxygen. That's back to that 15 range. I haven't bought the dip yet, but I'm starting to look at it below that 15 price. Brendo?
Just checking on AMD. There was this note that came out this morning here about, it was 5 hours ago. It's talking both about Intel and AMD and possible vulnerabilities in the space going forward for both. So no, to answer your question, Sean, no downgrade, but there was a little bit of a negative analyst note here this morning on the space in general.
Okay, good. And that's where Brendan's there. And he also got back to us on the gap performance there. 4% short. Spin it. Money. Okay, we like that one because that means that we've got some decent cash to throw around again. And there it is, man. There's DraftKings exactly as spec'd out. I told you that we're going to take that high of the day if it comes back. So it does. We get out at 19s there, 58.19. Our average price at that time was 90. So that's a 30-cent win. We'll take that all day there on DraftKings, considering that it was almost at our spot there. 57.50 was our out. So we'll take that. Here it goes. Let's go get elevated right now. Congratulations. I'm seeing the love on, there we go. We're into Uber now. I'm seeing the love on the chat for the Microsoft call. You're damn well welcome to everybody that had that. I mean, this was beautiful trade. We're out there. It was only 10%, so we're not going to cry over it, other than the fact that we did give up the high of the day there again for Microsoft. So I think I have all the right ins. I just don't have the right outs today. So still, positive day. We're super happy. But at the same time, Microsoft should have been held for a little bit longer. We all have those stories. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Let's hope that we can hold on to DraftKings a little bit longer. I still have that 58.50 target for DraftKings based on the last couple of days, so we almost got there. Let's park in order. If we really miss this one, then we miss it. But yeah, you know what? We kind of have this one right now, 50 cents in the money. Let's hold DraftKings. The reason why, again, was that a couple of days ago, well, it's even longer than that. We have to call up the 20-minute, but it was 58.50, guys. There is some resistance on DKNG, so we're going to have to wait on that new position alert with Uber taking out the high of the day there. Let's see if it can hold. We'll find some backside problems if there is going to be an issue where we want to get out. But I'll do a little bit more work on that, and you can come back and we'll talk more Uber.
Just going to watch this, well, we've been watching NEO all morning long, but you look at this 41.50 level thing. We talked a little bit about it before. It got to Friday's 41.25 area. Now you're right in that top end of the range where it seems to be stalling out a little bit here. So it kind of puts you in target for maybe a later day breakout. But at this time, when we're getting into that lunchtime trade, I'm going to start thinking about if we get like 25s into the high of the day for a bit of a short trade on NIO. I know it's only been long so far, but I'm going to flip the script just a little bit here on NEO as it enters that price. If I can get like, give me those 27s if you can here. Maybe 26, 27. We'll see if we can get some to the short side off. High of the day in NIO. Brendan?
I keep seeing this shift Pixie popping up, but it's not doing anything. It's doing a lot of volume, but it's not really doing anything. 305 here, 290 at the bottom. I remember this popped up last week. They announced they're going to do a bunch of SPACs. That was the news, but down here for PIXY, guys.
Yeah, you want.
wow.
Okay, so just quickly on Uber. So it's falling back down. This is a spot where we're going to try to get longer here, low 90s. I mean, look at the futures, man. This is actually, we didn't take a big position on a break now at 1040. We did take something, but I'm going to take more, double the position right now if we can get. I'm waiting for double this position right now at 91. Don't tell me it stopped at 92. This would be horrendous there. Let's see if we get some 91s, guys. Where I was. Don't do it. Where I was waiting, I need to get that fill, guys, down to 91, and then we're waiting at 80s again, and then I just picking this spot, to be honest with you, 55.70 or so. If that doesn't work, then maybe even a bit lower downside here, 55.60 on a possible break. Don't tell me I missed that 55.91. Our average price, we'd be in the money now. But okay, it doesn't matter. Hopefully it comes back down. We'll get that. But Uber looking to average in with an out, basically at VWAP. I'm pretty happy with that. 55.60. I'm going to actually adjust my order now that I see it.
Yeah, with that pullback in the market, you saw me just try to chase that NEO a second ago. Obviously missing out on it. Maybe if it gives me the teens on a bit of a pushback, I'll try to get that. It's at 41 now. MVIS is broken through low of the day, so that works now, down 70 pennies in the money. I wish I had the first short. Thankfully, we got the second when it comes into VWAP. Just because you missed the first trade on a stock that you like, you got to look for that next one. Don't cry over spilled milk. Let's go to Ms. V at the big screen.
Hey Neil, Alibaba is a popular name on the chat today. Baba stock is up more than 2%, and do you guys have this name on your personal watch list today?
No, it's not. I mean, it's not on my personal watch list today, but it is on my personal account. Alibaba. I like Alibaba for a long time. Whoa, hello. Yeah. Wow, okay. I guess Jack Ma has been found, and that's just a joke. Obviously, he's been found. 235, 236. Yeah, big mover upside on Alibaba. Did not even think about this today. I don't know why. I don't know why this move is actually even happening today for Alibaba. Maybe there was news. 236, 237. Yeah, I'm not too excited about this one until we get to 237, but I'm super excited about the move up. I've been a buyer of Alibaba in the 220s, like you guys know. My last buy was right around here a while ago, probably right around here, and I haven't looked at it since. So Alibaba, not right around here, sorry, on a daily chart, 235. This is only a couple days ago. But yeah, I like this 237 level to break out. Maybe there's news on Alibaba that I'm missing, Valeria, but I don't have it today on any of my watch lists. But hey, a good move. You guys know the only Chinese name that we traded so far today was NEO, I believe.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't see any news either on that. NEO obviously made a strong move as well, but I don't think that's necessarily related. Of course, it was that consolidation. And again, you get that break, and it was in that target range of 25 pennies from 41.25 to 50s. I tried to get that consolidation. I need to pop back up here. I'm not chasing this one all the way down to 41, but I want to give it to the high today. Just think there's a little bit of a reversal happening in the market. NEO's made 2 days worth of gains here. I would anticipate, and I am anticipating, there's going to be a pullback heading into this lunchtime. And at this time, we send you to the big screen for Sector Watch.
All right, let's have a look at the S&P 500, guys. We'll see what is leading the way so far. We are positive, nicely, in fact, 0.6 now for the S&P 500, back to the upside. We'll start off in the industrials group. I mentioned these earlier. UPS 4, it's actually FedEx now leading the way, 4.15 to the upside. So both the parcel shippers, I guess we'll call them, doing quite nicely, lifting this entire group. I saw GE early, 1.6. GWW, AOS 1.4 as well. So materials are strong today, regardless of some of these weak names. Delta, it's worth mentioning, and LUV back to the downside after initial strength that we were talking about in the airlines. ABMD here, 3.6%. In the healthcare group. The rest, though, nicely positive on the session, including the pharmaceutical names. There's Pfizer, Biogen here, Gilead as well, Regeneron, all having nice days, up more than 1% right across the board. So healthcares are strong. Energy stocks are strong. Same story, far corner there. Material stocks also strong. We were talking about both gold and silver making moves today. So all of the miners doing quite nicely on the day. Let's have a little chat here about consumer discretionaries, though. Both Penn and Domino's here. Really no significant news today, but if you go into the consumer services, these leading right now, 2.8 for Domino's, 3% for Penn. Yep, Starbucks is there, just disappeared, but that's Starbucks. RCL, CCL, some of the cruise lines here as well. So all of these names having a nice day. I mentioned the retail group, very, very strong right out of the gate this morning, still among the leaders on the session, as are the apparel makers and durable goods names, all in positive territory. So widespread buying, guys, so far, 0.5% for the S&P. Back over to you.
And back over to ISNS. I mean, up from a break of $6 on volume, halts at 687, opens back up on even more volume, just pressed into 750 here. And look, it's about to take the top off. I want to see if it can hold this 750 range before at least taking a crack at it to the south side. Almost like it to break, maybe break through and break back down would almost be the better way to play into it. So there's that 750 breakout. Not really going too hard into it, but the volume at 3.7 million and still sort of creeping up here. So if you always make sure you're tracking volume. This is a more volume post-halt buying than before. Otherwise, I'd already be into that short. Now I look at the 750, just made a 760-ish top. If it gets down into like those 35 to call it like 45, show a little weakness. Maybe the bids will drop and the offer will follow below 50, which it has not yet. I'll jump into a quick little short, but big time movement on that ISNS here to add some of the other names. And of course, NEO's starting to go without me here. I'm not going to get those 41 quarters as it's now below that 41 range. So the pullback happened. It just did so without me.
Yeah, that's going to happen to us. So what's going without me right now, and I'm in it, so it's going down with me. That is Uber right now. So we did get our prices. Can't complain, though, right now, guys.
Wow.
This was part of the plan. I mean, I wouldn't have bids here if we didn't want this trade. So let's wait to see. I mean, I can't. We have that crystal ball, and it's just today, I can't, with this market going downside, there's not much. I mean, if it kept on going, I loved Uber's opportunity to go to the high side there, but we have this out at 55.60, so that's coming awfully close right now. Looks like we'll fall on our sword again here with the Uber call, unless this market somehow turns itself around. Come on, Uber, you can get upside, can you? Or maybe not. What's up, Bren?
Heads up on eBay, just popping up here. I thought it would be more of a reaction to this, but it looks like it might have been back here. We broke through 57 there on a volume spike, but eBay exploring possibilities, guys, to sell NFTs on eBay.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know where. I mean, I guess there's a few different websites you can buy NFTs on right now. But hey, look, man, more profit center for you, eBay. Go for it. I don't know much about that.
So I just got into this ISN. This is going to be like a rinse and repeat of that last trade. But it is what it is. It just popped in below that 50 mark again, broke the 40s. Like I said, I wanted to. I was able to get shorts at 43. The bottom dropped temporarily and was getting right into this cluster at 725. And then someone just marketed it right back up to 740 to show their hand in the bid. So aggressive buying on the dip just happened right in front of my face. If it gets below that 40 range again, I'm going to have to take some of this trade off. And I immediately said to myself, I got to tighten the stop up when I see that. If the first gap down on a reversal like that, immediately someone just indiscriminately bought it right back up to 740, which is kind of crazy to me. So if we get back down in this cluster, I got to take profit in the 20s, which is only a small scalp trade. That also means I have to tighten up the stop and not give it to that high a day. No way, no how. Not with the buying that I just saw into it. Brendo?
Yeah, still looking around for a reason for that move on ISNS. I can show you this real quick. This short percent on that is non-existent, less than 1 on ISNS. But yeah, big mover today, guys.
I don't know. Like I'll take a 10-cent hit on that. Like it just broke those 50s. See where I got triggered out there. Either way, I think I got like 55s on that little out. So we'll call it 12 penny hit. And once again, like it looked like it was going to roll over, and then someone bought that one up. So that shows some strength there. Normally, I would be giving that towards the top, but anytime I see it start to go, and then someone just says, "Forget that, I'm not going to let it." I'm not gonna stand in front of that freight train if that's what's gonna happen. I want to come back over to NEO just for a brief second here because as much as I may have missed that trade, I gotta go cancel these because I don't want it to snap up on me at 41.25. There's still a bit of a roll that could happen, and we hold below. You sort of hold these areas here. I'm looking at the ES below at 42 and the NASDAQ still sort of comfortably below that 13.9. There is a chance that NEO could absolutely accelerate through like 40.80 here. So I might hit the 40.80 just to see if there's a scalp trade. Otherwise, if it's going to pop back up, I'm no longer looking at 41.25. I'm going to be looking at 41 teens and then see if there's like a quick little like in and out in front of that 25, which would be a lower high. NIO, great longs in the morning, but that's sort of come and gone here. I'm now looking for a short retracement trade.
I can't. Wow, Cincinnati Video Guru, thanks for that. Yeah, AMD. I mean, at this point, man, honestly, I don't understand it. So I'm going to have to keep looking at AMD because at this point, I just want it to keep falling so I can buy more of it. But I mean, I'm not in it right now as a day trade. And again, like we talked about Palantir and how you don't get a good read on something in a day, you got to drop it off, which reminds me, guys, I actually have to cancel my AMD bid now because I don't like that anymore. Okay, and then talk about, my conservative nature again. I'm super conservative. You guys already know that. Sure, we try to have, a little diamond hands for mostly paper hands, diamond hands for some of the trades that we have on, but then we never have on our full, load to go to the upside. But here we go again. We took out less than half, but close, 30-40%. I mean, I can zoom in here on Uber. We took, this was nothing, but still, let's be responsible for it. But then we averaged in there, nothing, and then we doubled up here. That's why you saw my average price was 89. At the maximum. Now, of course, we have 86s, but our average price was 89. We took some decent 92s, and our big one was down here at 81. We talked about that as that was happening. And then on the way back up, we got them out for flat. So we took some out at 85, and then the rest out here, 89s and 90s. I believe there's some 91s or 92s. Yeah, no, I guess 90, 91s in there as well. So again, Uber, we thought it would want to go, but we had to absorb all of this. So on a little bit of a bump back, we did get out of about 40% of our Uber trade. I'm still holding out for the bottom, but I won't be averaging in. If it breaks this level here, 55.60, then we're going to get out of Uber. I just, you know what? I think we take out the high at some point, and I'd love to be able to hold it. So right now, we do have some offers in the high 90s to make a decent win. But again, guys, being a little more conservative than I would like on this trade. Oh, look at that. Now there's size following this down. This is probably going to crack out. So let's just hope Uber can withhold this market move and we can get out in the 90s. But let's wait to see. See, they just took that guy out and it whipped up 5 or 6 pennies. So there, and then it just tanks 10 pennies. So this name very, very volatile today. I'm thinking I'm probably going to get out of this on the low side. Let's just hope the futures can turn around and then we'll rip.
Of course, we'll hit this one as I finally go for the first time short in NIO, and then it goes right back to 41, so I'm out of it. On the flip side, I at least stay to the long side of Occugen here. And I've been waiting around for a while. I mean, I actually have another bid down around the 65, but it just, barely touched off VWAP here. I got long at 77 in front of that 14.75 and VWAP that we had mentioned. So finally bought the dip. On OCGN, I kind of wish I had done the same thing on NIO instead of trying that little short, but we'll give a little bit back on NEO and then just sort of not dig into Occugen, but get back into some Occugen. Now, there was a bit of a failed break. It never really got to 1550. I think it's certainly going to be worth scalping some off, at least in between that 15 range and that 1525 to be sure, but don't want to get too far away from this name. It's been a good one, definitely been a good one. And I want to remind everybody, because I feel like we haven't done it enough, that's right. Today, it's Monday, members only Q&A. It's our way to give back to all of our members. We value you guys a lot. The market's moving a little bit. Arun is going to be around. So you have questions about the futures or just about the lucky shirt, don't hesitate to ask. Jump right in. We do it right after the show. A couple minutes after we get like a little bit of a coffee break and a bit of a bathroom break as well, guys. Then we'll jump right back in, answer all your questions. Get in early. It should be a fun one, as it always is.
Yes, as it always is. Good talk there. Yeah, we did forget to mention that one. Yeah, join us afterwards with Arun, members only, guys. So join up now. It's $5 a month. It's just the way that we're doing it. Okay, 57.50. The only position I really have on here is Uber. DraftKings. Okay, I was gonna say why didn't that come out, but there it is. We took the risk. This is going to be a completely flat trade for us on DraftKings. We've simply paid execution fees back and forth on that one. So yeah, we're out there. It does break. We talked about that high. It goes right to it. It doesn't break that 58.50. I have an offer to sell upside 58.50. This never hit. So that was a bad play. And look at this, man. Here we go. The market crashing. You need to find some shorts here. And by crashing, I mean, I guess that, Yeah, that kind of looks pretty bad. Giving back everything that it's made on the day. So, yeah, our Uber's in trouble right now, down 30 cents. Looks like obviously we'll be out of this one in a quick minute here, as I thought it was 58.50. I got to check my stops again here. Breaking through, yeah, so we're getting very, very close to getting out of this Uber trade. Breaking through 55.50 is what I'm going to use now for Uber because it's already too low. Let's wait on that one. But 6 more pennies and we're flashed out of Uber for a losing trade here, guys.
Yeah, and I'll show you, you got to scalp at this time of day. That's what I actually do in OCGN. So it pops in, and we talked about that 15. So it got right to like literally 15 on a dime, and it just stalled out. So I got some 99s, very, very fortunately. If it comes back into VWAP, I'll buy the dip one more time here. We love 14 even, so I don't want to dig in too deep at this VWAP retracement. They've been good, but the best one flushed hard through and gave you a push down into 14.12. So that's always in the back of my mind with Ocugen. At the front of our mind is going to be Brendan with Money Talks, although I feel like we'll just be talking crypto for the big movement.
Hey guys, yeah, currency time. Yeah, Ethereum, the big one so far today, still holding on to impressive gains again, 14.5%. You can see that's a chart over there. So all-time highs, obviously, and then some. We actually broke 3,200 at the very top. So holding 31.65 right now, up about 14.5, as I said. Bitcoin 2%, back to, as we were talking about, that 58, kind of 59,000 area, important levels for Bitcoin. Ripple downside ever so slightly. It's given up on early gains. Everything else nicely higher. We're seeing some weakness once again in the US dollar following that ISM number. British pound leading right now, 0.8. Back to 140 essentially. The euro up 0.4, 120. Canadian dollar break even. We're still around that 81.5. Still multi-week highs, or in the neighborhood of multi-week highs for the Canadian dollar. Japanese yen, Swiss franc, both lower on the day, as we typically see when there's lower volatility in the overall market. So 0.3 for both Japanese yen and Swiss franc. Back over to Sean.
Okay. Yeah, Swiss francs, Japanese, everything going. I mean, the Winn-Dixie there, the dollar not doing well in the U.S. Of course, we've seen the Canadian market ripping with that dollar. Okay, Uber trying to make a bottom, good one. We didn't take any more shares, probably should have, but whatever. This thing could tank the rest of the day. So we do have our out. We don't want to average in. If we're going to win, it's going to be to the upside, and that's that. So we're going to wait for that one to go through. That's Uber. Let's check out Afria today because we did talk, APHA in NASDAQ. We did talk about that conversion. Oh, it's gone off. It's gone. Oh, no. Yeah, it's gone off NASDAQ. Okay, so I don't think we can, I guess it's just all Tilray. You talked about it in Canada, so I guess they've already merged it as well in the States. So here it is, TLRY today, down 5%. Again, I don't want to really look at too many MJ names because I just don't think there's any news until we actually get news. So you got to wait for these names. We talked about earnings is obviously a catalyst as well for these names, and then this recent merger with Tilray and Afria, a catalyst as well. But you need that federal, man. You need the feds to step in, and then hopefully they can shine some light on what their policy will be for legalization, at least on the federal level. For me, I keep going back to the same name, and that's Canopy. I like it. I like that they've bought acreage. I like everything that they're doing there. They have the connections. They have Constellation. For me, CGC is the name that at least shouldn't fail too far. But we're already at these levels. Like, you got to start. If you like the names and you like something in the cannabis sector, you could start picking it up now. 24, 25. I like these levels, but I mean, again, it's just going to be a slippery slope until you get that. But you want to be in for some of those notes, right? So again, just be careful. My money, CGC. If you want those home runners, then I still think CGC could be it, but SNDL, things like that, Cron, some of the lower value names probably a little bit better. But for high quality, I'm in Canopy.
I would echo that about a 1,000,000%, and certainly over Sundial. But whatever. I'm not the best. I'm not the biggest fan of Sundial, so most of you guys probably know that. Yeah, ISNS. Here's the thing. Obviously, it's at $8, so a short at $7.40 wasn't a good idea. so that was a losing trade. However, I can't look at this and say, wow, good job, Neil. You were able to get in and then, sort of not take that hit here and get a little bit early. No, I mean, there was a pullback into that sort of target range that I wanted that I wasn't able to capture. So as much as you save yourself some money by not getting stuck in this move, overall, this should have been a rollover that I profited from. So I got to sort of look at it in a proper way here, and that was not necessarily the best trade. And if I'm going to do that, I also have to go over to Neo and say sort of the same thing, right? Like there was this little potential like breakdown, grabbing this consolidation. Maybe it did run a little bit too far, I suppose. I didn't want to give this all the way back into past those teens. That's why I got out of it, thinking if it did that, I'd be able to get the short we wanted originally around 25.30. That ended up being untrue. So it's more just that Neo's getting sleepy. It still looks like it's trying to break down at that 40.80, but I'll probably have to let this one go and start thinking about where to pick it up on the long side of the trade instead of just fighting with the shorts over and over again. OccuGen continues to try to whoops, that's not OccuGen. OCGN. OccuGen continues to try to bounce off VWAP. The first time I took some out at 15, I did not the second time. Actually waiting up here in the teens to see if it gives a bigger move. I'll probably try to reload here, between 75 and 82, somewhere in that price range. And then I would definitely scalp some off in front of 15. It is getting to that time of day where if you're not going to scalp your wins, buying dips on a stock, it's already up 18%. You sort of risk throwing it all away if it crashes through VWAP. So I'll get the 15-cent scalp if I can this time if it bounces off of 80s. Brendo?
I remember this one actually from way back a year ago, around the beginning of the pandemic. This is a medical equipment maker. Yeah, it is the same company. Precipio Incorporated, which is PRPO, just popping up here. This thing ran up to 450 going back a month or so as well. On volume, so they launched today a rapid COVID-19 antibody test that you can pick up on Amazon, guys. So an antibody test on Amazon for COVID-19.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a pretty good
That's
business
pretty cool.
opportunity, I would think. Okay, so I just noticed some size here on Palantir. So we're just going to baby this stock. If it breaks that, then we're going to get out. There's some ARCA here. I'm long Uber already, and it's tanked into this futures move. So I don't want to have a crazy amount of exposure in case it does crack. So this one's giving me an easy out, man. We're long at 51. And if it breaks 49, this is just a very, very, easy move. Again, if it bounces back, we have some support downside here with some ARCA love, but that's nothing. Like it's already 13 million shares. That's only 200K, so that's going to get eaten up. If that dissolves itself, which it looks like it may do right now, then we will be out. So on a breakthrough 49, we'll get out if this thing touches lower, and that's it. There it is. So there it is. So we get out of Palantir there. No skin off our back. Small hit. We were just testing that low there to see if it was going to hold, and it doesn't look like it does. The ultimate low here, 42 on Palantir. We're holding a small bit there just in case the guy shows back up again, but here it comes to the downside. Look at the NASDAQ now cracking its low here. So the lowest it's been at since we've been on the show. Right now, NASDAQ. So getting out of some of our high stocks made a lot of sense, like Microsoft, DraftKings, we got out at a good price as well. But right now, I guess AMD is probably cracking lower, and it looks like Uber is getting very, very close. There it is. We'll be out of Uber in a second here as it breaks back down below 50. As long as my order is working, we'll be out of Uber very, very soon, guys. Unfortunately, we picked to get in there, and it doesn't look like it wants to run here. Uber to the downside on this futures move. Another one there. We tried it for you guys, but yeah, Uber, Nepal on this one.
Well, I mean, I just covered this short here, and I got to watch out for OccuGen because it just averaged back in. Well, got back into that one in front of VWAP as the market's crashing, and then so cover my short and get back into more of a long because that makes sense. But since the video guru, I'm actually in some trading the gappers and movers a little bit more because I mean. I don't know what's going on in NASDAQ. It's probably just a bit of rotation, I suppose. But I'm going to start looking at the chip names because I'm kind of curious to see exactly where NVIDIA and Micron are at. NBIS, it's now held this. Look, it broke the low of the day at 1370. Then broke all the way down to that 1350. Couldn't quite get there. Putting in higher lows. Like I'm just going to take the profit. Certainly was a fantastic trade on the failed breakout off of the open, but the VWAP trace is usually pretty good on those as well. So thankfully we at least caught that. OCGN has been a good one for everyone. Well, I mean, I'm assuming, for us involved anyways. Hopefully you guys have had this one bouncing off VWAP. It just feels with the weakness that it has in the market, I'm not likely to buy this dip again if it can't actually break towards the high. I should probably just take the profit if I can in the 90s and not let this get too far away from me here. I'm not even going to bid below VWAP. If it breaks 1470, I will get flat on this trade. It's just a little too much weakness, and the last thing you want to do is throw away your profit, getting too stubborn with any of the long trades here. So that'll be it. That'll be it for me on Ocugen if it does go. I do want to, just because I know we haven't really talked about it at all today, and there's been some other moving stocks that have been a little bit better for the trade. I just want to note that Tesla is bracing right down around those lows. Wow, that was crazy on Ocugen. Didn't even get the stop out. That's crazy, Ocugen. You kidding me? I just got slipped to 55s on Ocugen. 55s long in the 70s. That just broke hard to the downside. So I said, don't dig in any more shares. Thank goodness we didn't. But gonna get flushed and do that over there as I just got an Ocugen live for you guys there. Unfortunately, I couldn't flip to it. That's how fast it moved. But Tesla double bottoming off that 690. Hopefully this can be a bit of a low area for like some scalp trading maybe in the afternoon. And the Ocugen just broke the 50s, so if you can't beat them, join them. This is the move I'm talking about, right? So harsh move down into VWAP. I had a 50 stop to go short if it broke that 50s. I didn't think it would happen this quick. Now sell side on Ocugen for the first time all morning, and that happened way faster than I was anticipating, but thank goodness I didn't average in one more time because I was about to.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you got to have your levels there. So we've unfortunately, not unfortunately, I mean, I guess that 15 break when it first kind of happened would have been good on Ocugen. You know, we had that 1450, and again on our sticky notes here, 1450. We take that again. A lot of the breaking spots that are on the notes are really just good for sort of the open, and then I use that same level to get back out. As right now, yeah, pumping through the volume, like look at this level too, 140 million shares right now on OCGN. So wow, good move there. We didn't get out of our Uber. We're like 5 cents away from taking out of that one. That's going to be out very, very soon. Interesting name, Neo, right back here, guys. Like this is an interesting one. Unlike Palantir, we know Neo has guns blazing to the upside. So like 40.60, I think this is a good spot where we initially got out. Let's go long here on Neo and see if we can't get it to the back here. 40.60 is going to be our out on Neo if we're wrong. So I think it's worth a 10 cent or so risk. I guess 15 cent risk here. Although, damn it, like I don't want to be long Neo. Like if this market does give off there, we'll be long Neo and Uber, which is going to be a problem. Let's take a small risk here on Neo, go long. We have 60 as our out, so it's a 15 cent hit. I think it's well worth it to the upside, especially if these futures get going, but maybe we got to wait for them. It seems like they're taking their sweet time here. Let's take a small piece of Neo.
I just saw, apologies, I think it was Alonzo was asking about Qualcomm. I mean, looking across the space, it just turned negative on the session. Again, with a fantastic quarter. I mean, everyone saw that through. We actually traded on the earnings, and we're very happy with the long trades that we got, but the way that we're moving here in the NASDAQ, I'd be waiting around till that 135 before sort of digging in deep here. We're just breaking the low as we speak on the NASDAQ and just turned into negative territory. So I would get a little bit patient with some of these levels here. I don't feel like you need to force the action. There's likely to be some chop in this range. So that's just my 2 cents on. Look, I guess it's different if you love Qualcomm and you don't own anything, okay, fair enough. Maybe you put like that 10, 15, 20%, whatever it is to get starter positions whenever you have like consecutive red days after strong earnings. But if you already own this puppy, like I wouldn't be necessarily digging in too deep until we got to that 135. Just feels like the way this week is starting, good shot you're going to get it. So why not wait for that extra couple of percentage points you can save yourself?
Okay, so this is going to sound crazy, but we are going to take a little piece off of Neo if we can get it at 85. Their nice little move. There we go. Did we get it? No, we did not. Yeah, we're waiting on a gateway that's going to pay us to break through 85. So hopefully, darn it. Should have gone on something free. Break yourself. Break. 45, it's a small win, so who cares? Anyways, Neo to the upside. We do think that risk is well worth it. Should be on another gateway. We would have already had that 85, but we're trying to get paid, so let's wait to see. Come on, Neo, break that. Let's go. And then Palantir, still there it is. Nice trade. Nice little out. We'll wait upside now, 41. See if we can get that. Uber still, man, it does not break down below here, this 40. Again, we're not, like my stops are a little bit lower. We talked about I don't want to get hunted out. We've seen that happen to all of us. And, so we are putting our stops a little bit lower. I believe I'm going to take a little bit out now of Uber. It's going to be a loss, but let's just start to lick a little bit of our wounds here. I don't want to wait all day for this move, so we'll take a little bit out here, take a 20-cent hit, and then we'll wait for it to get back up. May start to average in if it breaks above this 55.70 so that we know we have it, but until then, let's get some profit out. NEO upside now. Our next out is in the 99s. So nice little run upside. Spin it for NEO. Now we just need Uber to go as well. We'll put an offer at 94 there. See if we can get that on NEO, and then we'll wait for some high side move. But hey, man, 20 or I guess 18 cents on NEO. There it is. Nice move. Let's go. Hopefully, there it is. Make some more money back, NEO. Good trade there. Thank God we have that to like coincide with this Uber mess.
Yeah, I mean, I was just having a quick look at. Someone asked about Virgin Galactic. I'm like, yeah, I'll take a look at it. And I said, and I'll repeat it because I mentioned in the chat. I wouldn't touch this thing until it breaks 20, which is on the radar. Actually, I'm glad you brought it up there. And apologies for not. I think it was Elaine. Apologies for not getting to it sooner. But 20 break looks like it could happen this week. It gets into the teens, and I think that's a reasonable place to buy it. Yeah, they're falling way behind. They're SpaceX. Congratulations! I'll give a clap for those guys with another successful launch and returning those astronauts, which they do because they're way ahead. Elon, keep doing what you do. 20 is going to be the break. I know it's already down 7 or 8%, so not necessarily likely you're going to get that push in today, given the drop that it's had. I'd look to see maybe it could come back into 21s, and then I could short move into 21s. I wish I had noticed Virgin Galactic. That was a money of a short with the NASDAQ falling like this. You get some of those high valuation names that get absolutely crushed. I know we're very, very close to going into that interview. I wanted to wrap up a couple of names here. I'm back into that OCGN, but this time to the south side as it's below VWAP. And RHE continues to hold. I mean, look, it gave the flush off 15, so this is the move I guess I was chasing, and of course I missed it. And then it's right back here kind of trying to press. If it cannot, see that out where I made what was top wick at 1450? I think that's sort of the key. If it can hold 1450, I like the short in this range. As I say, like literally as I say it, it just dropped right into 1350 anyways. It is what it is. I'm going to end up missing this trade because I'm yapping. If it gets into this like 14 to 1450 range and I can get like a tight stop trade, I'm not giving it to the high of the day. I'd like to give it to that 1450. And of course, as I'm talking, it's doing a little bit of dumping into this range. So it feels like the bears are trying to win out. Very, very dangerous stock. I would not short this giving to the high of the day. I think that's sort of crazy talk, giving like $1.50 if you factor in slippage. I'd rather risk like a 40 or 50 cent loss.
Yeah, funny. Yeah, good call there. Funny guy, Palantir. Again, it breaks. I mean, that's fine. It breaks that 47. We get out. We're actually now, because we did hold some, we're actually able to make. I feel bad a little bit on that because we gave you guys the out that I took there was 47 on that 47 break. I actually got, I guess the break must have been at 48 because I got 47 change their half print, and now Palantir rips up. Like, damn it, we could have made back a significant amount of what we lost there because I did put on some decent size there, so that's why we hold back upside and take a little bit of a win there. 9-10 cents on that name. So good call, but should have not got stopped out. But we did on that trade. NEO to the upside, we did take a little piece there through 50s, sorry, 95, 96. I don't know what our out was there, 94 it looks like. So we're right back. So you guys can have this trade if you did want it, but we're right back into that teeth now of NEO and see if it can get through here. So it has to get through this 41.15, 41.16. With that being said, we do have an order higher right now than that, as this is a dime now in the money. We just did take 15 cents. So that, pipes out to be a good trade, but we're waiting for it still. NEO and then Uber. I don't know if this is going to go, man. I mean, we're right at VWAP. This is what's making me nervous. We held it through there because of the NASDAQ dip, but look what's happening now. It's dipping again. It looks like it wants to test the bottom here, the NASDAQ. So not a great opportunity here on Uber. It's below the VWAP. I don't like that. And it's just, it's hankering down on this move. So good thing we cleared some out there, but it's going to be a loser if we do break, obviously, below this 40. That's my trigger spot, guys.
Yeah, and we're about to learn a little bit with our guest of the day. At least you guys are all going to learn as we will as well. But I just talked about this trade on RHE, and it's going to happen. And what I probably should have done is, as it was consolidating, get a little bit more aggressive, I think, off of that 14 area because, as I'm yapping away here, the last time through, it didn't even give it a chance. Flushed into 13, but it's worth noting every single spike down that I think is going to cause a halt. Where's the halts to the downside, right? I mean, there was one up here, one here, and then it basically gave you like a 40% retracement back upside here. So, I mean, the stock is still relatively strong. If it craters through like 1250, that's one way to get into it. But just be very, very careful when you're trading any of these types of names here. And I talked about Oxygen, but just very quickly before we get into the interview, back below VWAP, I got out of the long side of the trade, got some more shares. It did not break that 1470. This was also pre-market tops. So top 1470. I'll probably give it to like the 75 just to give it a few extra pennies here. But I got the short on Oxygen. I want to get some out in front of the opening range. Well, this higher low that it put in, I should say, at 1410. It got there, but the real consolidation was like 35. That's why I got some bids. If it breaks that, I'll get more out in front of 14. You know that price because that's what we're all over in the morning. Early in the pre-market at 7:30, and then a few times here once we came on the show with you guys at 8:45, and at 9 o'clock we were buying in front of 14. Off the open we bought 14s. Of course I'm going to cover shorts in front of 14 even on Oxygen.
Okay, so there it is, man. We'll flush ourselves down the toilet just one more time. As we like our two negative stocks today really went against us hard when the market went. And so we just got out of Palantir for flat. That's fine. Like I said, it was not a heavy position. Actually cashed out. We just wanted to make sure that we got out of Palantir in case this market was big time to the downside. We're holding a small piece of Uber. But until now, I still like the long, but now it has to be happening right here. This is where we wanted to get out in case it did come backside there. So we will still treat this as our out, as our next in 55.70. In case it comes during the interview, guys, 55.70. But look at NASDAQ, it's just like see ya down to the downside there. So I just saw, like, I don't know, Kathy Wood, I think she's getting wood shedded there today because there's some talk. She's in AMD, she's in Tesla, and I mean, a lot of these names today dropping down. Obviously, I think wisely she got out of that space, but I mean, look at Tesla, like I don't know if she may still be in.
Oh, she's still in it.
She's still in, yeah. So
because
good luck. Like,
yeah, I mean, the space fund still holds it, but like, yeah, today they're getting
investing with Kathy Wood right now. Yeah, you may want to pick up some ARC at some point because these names are just getting crushed right here. So, okay, you know what? We're going to have to look for some more names because as we continue to go down, like what's AMD right now? 79? Like when do we, exactly, when do we pick this up down 3 points today? AMD right into a level that I love again. So I'm going to put some bids lower like 76. Take a long-term trade on AMD. I want to find a bottom, man, on this. So I'll be searching for AMD as we have our guest of the day now with Brendan.
All right, guys, well, a great way to start the week when it comes to crypto markets. We talked about the big, strong moves we saw in all of the cryptocurrencies over the weekend and continuing here to start things off on a Monday. So we brought on tokens.com, the former CEO and co-founder of Hut 8. You may all recognize that name, and the current co-founder and CEO of tokens.com, Andrew Kegel, joining us. Great to have you on the show, Andrew. Welcome. It's a busy Monday in the cryptocurrency space. Specifically for Ethereum. We'll get into this, but congratulations right out of the bat. Big move this morning for Ethereum.
Yeah, great move. I think that's being driven by all the decentralized finance activity that's happening. There was a report over the weekend that there is now over $100 billion worth of capital locked into different DeFi projects, and most of those are built on Ethereum. I want
to talk a little bit about DeFi and some NFT topics here coming up. But let's start off with tokens.com, a proof of stake company. Explain to the viewers, if they're not familiar with that term, what exactly we're talking about here.
Yeah, and so all cryptocurrencies generally rely on one of two ways to validate transactions. One is what probably a lot of your viewers are familiar with, which is crypto mining. Proof of stake is the new version of crypto mining. It's the environmentally friendly version. We don't consume electricity or use hardware, but we produce the same end result, which is validating transactions. And so after leaving Hut 8, I created tokens.com as a way of providing the same services that a crypto miner does, but in what I think is a much better financial model. So rather than buying equipment and electricity, we actually buy the token and provide the same work. And what that's resulted in is some fantastic appreciation figures, and we get paid by the cryptocurrencies to do that.
I want to jump into the revenue model here coming up, but let's talk a little bit about what the company is currently Focused on solely, I mean, we know that one of the biggest coin or the biggest positions is going to be in Ethereum. What else is tokens.com holding?
We're holding Polkadot, and we've been picking up some Binance coin, BNB. Those would be the three largest positions that we hold. We're earning yields on those in excess of 10%, closer on average to 13%. Plus, we get all the appreciation that occurs in something like Ethereum over the course of the weekend and over the course of this whole year.
So when it comes to the revenue model, let's visit this topic, because we might be confusing a few of the viewers as far as how the company is actually generating revenue by what you mentioned, staking. How do we actually come up with a revenue model? You mentioned the appreciation is obviously there, but let's talk about staking.
Yeah, so we're earning 13% roughly on the tokens that we're holding. And so that 13% is paid to us in additional tokens. As an example, we own Ethereum, and we're paid to provide staking services, roughly 10% on our Ethereum position. And as we get paid in Ethereum and we're holding that Ethereum, we also benefit as it goes up. So it's sort of a two-pronged strategy. The revenue is based off of the staking, which is that 13% on average. And then our actual positions that our purchases that we use for staking are up about 200%. And so the best analogy I can provide for listeners, it's a little bit like owning a residential apartment building where you are collecting rent from your tenants, but the value of the building itself, the land, continues to go up in value. And so you're getting appreciation from owning that building, plus you're collecting rent from all the tenants. And for us, it's the same thing. We own Ethereum. Ethereum continues to appreciate in value. And as it's appreciating, we continue to collect a stream of Ethereum by holding it and providing our staking service.
The terms decentralized finance and these NFTs, non-fungible tokens, have just exploded over the past few weeks and months in popularity. A lot of people gaining interest in this space. Talk a little bit about how cryptocurrencies, or the role that cryptocurrencies play in both decentralized finance and NFTs, and how does a company like tokens.com take advantage?
Right, so we are a real good way to get exposure to decentralized finance, DeFi, and NFTs. And the reason why is every time there's an NFT or a DeFi platform built, it has to be built on a blockchain, for example, Ethereum. And back to what we were talking about before, the reason Ethereum is seeing such a surge right now and it's booming is because it's a programmable blockchain. And all of these DeFi and NFT things that are going on are being built on platforms like Ethereum and Polkadot, which happen to be our largest positions. And so if you're looking for that sort of alpha exposure to things like DeFi and the NFT world, non-fungible tokens, our stock, tokens.com, is such a great way to get that exposure.
I want to talk about the symbol here, because you have a very popular symbol. A lot of people may recognize it and understand. We're not talking about Coinbase here, guys. This is tokens.com, listed as of Friday. Congratulations on the NEO exchange here in Toronto. Talk a little bit about the process that you went through to come up with that symbol, and how the listing process went on Friday.
Yeah, so we did a financing with Stifel, Canaccord, and a bunch of underwriters, and we did a reverse takeover into an existing shell, and the symbol coin belonged to them. And so we actually had it before Coinbase, and for us, it was a coincidence that they ended up choosing it afterwards in the US. We will be trading in the US under the ticker symbol SMRF in about 8 weeks. And so that hopefully provides some differentiation. But we completed our reverse takeover. We have 75 million shares outstanding, and we've been trading now for a day and a quarter. We are up over 50% from our initial listing price. And I think people, again, if you're looking for that exposure to decentralized finance, cryptocurrencies, and non-fungible tokens, we are a great way to do that.
Andrew Kegel, co-founder and CEO of tokens.com, joining us. Let's talk about where we see this going. Let's go 6 months out even. Where does this market, this decentralized finance market, go? And how big are we looking at of a market size, in fact, for NFTs?
This is going to be $1 trillion market. Decentralized finance is really the digitization of things that you normally do at the bank or with your brokerage moving to the digital world. So this is borrowing, lending, trading. You're going to see insurance platforms on there. It's going to be able to trade stocks 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's coming, it's here, it is happening at a really fast pace. Like I said, this went from basically zero a year and a half ago to over $100 billion locked in right now, and it's growing at a tremendously quick pace. As those platforms continue to grow and people start saying, you know what, I can get a better return on my money by, in the digital world, or I can trade, I can do all kinds of things. Things like Ethereum and Polkadot will continue to appreciate as they get used as the programming languages in this area. And that's really why we're so excited about it. We think this is going to be huge. Things like NFT, non-fungible tokens, for people in the collectible world, art, sports, it's a massive thing. And because you're able to trace the origin and the origin history of a piece of art or a video, again, we see this as a market that is just booming and at its infancy.
For the, I agree 100%. And for the music industry specifically as well, I think it's going to just revolutionize things and just lift things right back to levels they were decades ago. As far as the company is concerned, what's next here for investors? Investors like to know about important dates. Obviously, Friday was a huge one for the company. What's next for tokens.com?
The biggest thing that's coming up is our Q1. That'll be mid-May. I think we'll have some other good announcements coming up with respect to news and some other initiatives that we're taking. But generally speaking, I think we're going to have our capital fully deployed in the next few days. And I think just having and being able to disclose to the market what our positions are in things like Ethereum, Polkadot, and BNB, that I think will get people excited and see that that's how they get that direct exposure to the booming industries that are happening in the NFT and DeFi space right now.
It's an interesting time and a very profitable one, obviously. All-time highs again for Ethereum today. So congratulations both on that and on the brand new listing, guys, on the Neo Exchange here in Toronto. If you want to check it out. Yeah, it's Coin, COIN.TO is the ticker. Andrew Kegel, co-founder and CEO of tokens.com. Best of luck. We look forward to an update in the future.
Thank you very much.
Guys, a look at tokens.com, a very interesting model. If you want to take a few minutes to kind of read up on it a little bit further, if you want exposure to the cryptocurrency markets itself, it's a very interesting model, guys.
Yes, it is. I know everyone's happy to learn there. They also had me at Smurf, which was, I don't know, I guess I'm telling my age. When I give a chuckle at a cool ticker name,
I wanted to ask him why that was Smurf.
I'm kind of curious too, because I don't see the obvious connection outside of the fact that it's just hella cool. I mean,
is there like a Smurf coin I don't know about maybe? I don't know. Okay, good name. Yeah, look, staking, very, very cool. Find out about it, a little bit less risk there by staking and grabbing a percentage there. But again, your coins get tied up. You guys know about it. Read it. Super smart guy, Hut 8. I mean, you've all, hopefully you know about that as well. So we could check in on some of the crypto names here quickly as we're going to watch here. This is ETH. Like I wrote down, guys, this 3200 on there, and we're getting like mucho close to it. That's a daily chart. Let's go to a 1 minute chart here, and we'll see. I've been trading a little bit of ETHE, but you can see here today, maybe 1 minute's not great. There was the high. Let's go to like maybe a 5 minute there. The high was made overnight. Oh, come on, there it is. 32, and we came on the show, it was about 30, 31 or so. We had a nice little dip down, and it's just rocketed right back up. So, I mean, no surprise there if you take out 3,200. And then some of these crypto names, guys, you guys know them, and there's another one to add to your list. There's the Riot blockchain and things like that. But right now it's all about Ethereum, not about BTC. So hopefully you guys have either staked with Ethereum or holding some ETH instead of BTC. But BTC will have its day, in my opinion. It's just right now a lot of talk, like you mentioned there, NFTs and how that's going to be changing the name, and a lot of that done on the Ethereum network. So congratulations, and another good name to look at. I still can't find a bottom here on AMD, so I'm probably not going to trade it with only 4 minutes left here. We did take another shot. Oh, there goes Palantir, just dropped off again. We took another shot on, this is again another completely flat trade. Like we go long here at 49, gets them out 54, 55, then it breaks 40 and we get out again. So Palantir keeps breaking all these lows. We're trying to hit that home run. We can make it all back, but the market has to go. What's up, B?
All right, a couple minutes to go here, guys. As we mentioned, another big time week as far as earnings are concerned. Yeah, we're going to get into some of the apparel makers and retail names coming up this week, but another busy board.
Hello.
Yes, sir. I mean, you got Under Armour in there, of course. Pfizer, like I'm not necessarily thinking it's going to be a crazy mover there, but I'll be buying Pfizer on any kind of weakness. I think that's going to be a good one. The way the Nasdaq's moving here today, Sean, if it is a bit of a rotation, I mean, that's going to sort of stick out to me as a potential value. It's been on a good little run lately. It's a lot of names, but I mean, I've been sticking to some of the gappers in today's action, and based on that board, I think it'll be more of the same tomorrow.
Yep. I mean, Under Armour's there. I don't know, Marathon. We saw bad reports come from Exxon and Chevron. Oh, DuPont, Dow DuPont on the left there, a good little name as well. Good thing we got out of Palantir as it just continues to keep tanking as well. So so I like Dow DuPont tomorrow. We'll see about that in the plastics game as well. They make things for cell phones, everything. So good little look there for Dow DuPont. Let's check in on Ford today. Ooh, back to 1150. So a good little move here for symbol F today. I mean, not really. It got as high as 68. That was the move we're talking about. Right now, back into 50. This could also be a buy heading into what I think will be good. GM reports later this week as well. So possibly pin action there if GM says something a little more positive than Ford did about those semis, guys.
And before we get to what National Day is, NEO making a press back. Look, most of the dip buys on the long side were at that 39.75 to 40 range. Time to step in front of a moving freight train, as I've been waiting around. And here is NEO one more time. So in front of 40, I'll start it. 75 ever goes. I get to put my stop back in because I got, when I versed into the short trade, that what a great short that was that I didn't hang on to. Anyways, it looks like 40 is going to be a bit of a dip buy if we can get it. NEO coming all the way back because the market is now 0.5% down on the NASDAQ. But if you want to get cheered up for some of those longs, we're going to find out what national date is. And as usual, Valeria just wants to tease me with these. It's a tasty one. Miss V.
Hey guys, thank you very much for spending first trading day of May with us. Dear members, you're more than welcome to join our Q&A session right after this show. Arun will be joining us, and you can find the link for the stream on our Twitter page, community pages, and the live chat. And of course, everyone will be back at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time to trade the close together. Happy National Chocolate Custard Day, everyone.
Yes, always. I'll take all the custard you can give me. It is what it is. It's delicious. It's fantastic. It is lunchtime. Of course, we're not going to be jumping away to go eat lunch because we have to get right to that Q&A. I'm sure Arun's going to be following right there as well. So all of us are going to be right there to answer your questions for all the members. Still time to sign up if you haven't already. $5 a month. It's our way to give back to you guys. You guys are all fantastic in the community, and you can ask us anything, even the market move that's happening right now. I know we'll probably be still in some trades going into that, especially this NEO on that little dip here. Any last words before we get out of here, Sean? Wow, NEO.
No, not really. Was looking to pick up some more Uber here down near 55, as that seems to have been a dropped off spot there, a jump off spot from the morning. So that's just the other trade. We're out of Palantir. We're pretty much flat on everything, and we're excited for the Q&A, and we're excited if you can't join us for the Q&A. Thank you. There's a new member right there. What's up, Sean? What's up, Tybobot, and Sean, thank you guys for joining us. We'll be up very, very soon. The link should come through. But yeah, and then if those of you that can't join us, we'll be back, as you guys know, at 3:15 as well. So we're excited for that one.
Absolutely. It's a lot of fun, but got to go down the line because we got to run for very briefly. For Miss V, looking sharp in the blazer. My man Sean Katina and Brennan Wickens, always a fantastic interview. I'm Neil Roberts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live. We'll see you in 5 for the Q&A. Bye.